I think we're live. Yeah. So here, let's do it again just to be sure.
All right.
Welcome to Galactic Earth Fusion Mission Upgrade, the show that discusses the normal, the paranormal, the natural, the supernatural, the organic to know the inorganic, the weird, the wonderful, all things outrageous, strange, upbeat, and cutting edge. Broadcasting to you live from Western North Carolina, land of the sky. I'm in Black Mountain right now, not too far from these guys. I'm Missy Hill, and this is the red hair cult. This is not pink hair. This is red.
You like it?
I like it. Damn it, Matt. And I got to show you my shirt in honor of Vampire Cat because I'm in a mood today.
Awesome. Check it out. I love the cat.
This kind of energy with what's going on with these Bigfoots. We're going to get into the good, the bad, and the ugly. Mostly good, but we got to get the bad and the ugly out of the way first. But everybody say hi to Arthur because he's a wild.
Look at Arthur.
I can see he's all in it. Holy Lord, Arthur.
He's biting me. Stop. He is a vampire. It's like, hey.
Get down.
Okay. We still got candles going. I wanted to burn some more incense at some point. So, where'd you get the wig?
Probably the junkyard. Well, so we that's all we traverse with the junkyard people, right?
Yeah, we found it at the junkyard somewhere. So we also got a unicorn head and a bunch of wigs. That's like it's a really big black wig, and like it's a whole lot of hair extensions. It's all from the junkyard.
You need to get some dreadlocks in that now.
Oh, you're probably right. Just start.
Yeah.
I think that would be super cool. My husband has a hat that's like a pirate hat with dreadlocks. It's kind of cool. So
Cool.
my hair, I kind of lightened it up. I mean, not light in color, but I took the weight out of it. I got it cut at the college, the AB Tech, and the pink cult has shifted into more of not a hair band anymore.
Yeah, I miss the hair bands.
Yeah, it's working for me.
I think it looks pretty good. So let's give a little introduction about you guys. I can't introduce you guys; are just too hilarious. But tell us first about the Jim Morrison song before you even get into that.
Oh, what we talking about Jim Morrison? Yeah, he said it's been a year or two ago when he said that, but he said that the phones are the great divide, and he said that used to you would travel miles and miles to go somewhere, and when you got there, it meant something, and doesn't mean nothing anymore, right? And it's true. You think about it, we just, it's kind of divided us all, right? Pretty cool. Hey, I want to say I'm watching the chat. You got Terry just came in.
Hi, Terry.
So we'll keep up as. I figured out how to turn the chat on. So we're like you. We're technically
insane. Is that you, Matt?
That's Matt.
Yeah. I had a feeling. Yeah.
That's me.
Yeah.
Terry says their hair is absolutely fabulous.
Well,
yeah, we're gonna have to, when we do this again. I'm gonna get my hair and my garb and all my crazy on. I should have gotten my wizard hat out of the car, but I just didn't do it.
Yeah, with you and Missy, or you and Chloe, I don't know what you guys are going to show up with. So me and Matt, I'm like, Matt, go grab your costumes. You know what I'm saying? He's coming in right now in another one.
So give us a little intro about you guys, because there's too much to describe about you guys that it's just
okay. We'll do that. Tina was saying something. What, Sweeps?
Hi, Tina.
She's saying we're quiet. We turned up.
No. You guys are loud, and she's a little on the low
we could
side.
turn.
Oh, he says that we could turn our mic down to check the mics.
I actually need to get a good external mic, but
yeah, she says you're a little lower, which means I would want to turn mine down. Let's see if I can turn mine. Yeah, here, turn it down just a little bit. Okay, test. Tina, see how that is.
check
I'll turn it down.
1, 2.
All right, how's that, Tina?
That's great.
Hey, Eric.
Hey, Eric.
Okay, she's doing a test. Okay, come on. All right, here comes Matt. You'll like this one. Come on in, Matt.
Oh my God. That's great. It's a unicorn.
Put your head down, the unicorn stick. Yeah. Ain't that cool? I mean,
I sound far away. I I don't know why I sound far away. Hold on a second. Let me try to adjust something real.
Okay. All right. Here, I might back up this camera. Let me just stay right there.
All right.
Stay right there. We will see why you look like you do. Okay, perfect.
Okay, how's that?
All right, that sounds good.
Okay, great. Unicorn power. Yeah, that's right.
Unicorn power.
Okay, give a little introduction about your
Okay, you-
wildness.
Okay, our wildness. Geez, where do we start, man? How do we introduce? I always started off kind of telling people we're what I call redneck homemade Amish. I have to put the redneck in there because we're kind of like homemade Amish. 30 years ago we moved out here in the woods, but I'm an explorer. I'm Gemini, so there you go. Now you know how that is.
And I'm a Sag. So
He's just
My North
I
Node is
can
in
run.
Gemini, so that's
Mhm.
my GPS system.
okay.
yeah.
And so and I'm an explorer, I guess you could say. I was in the Air Force, traveled around the world, 10 years in there. Cave. I run East Tennessee caves forever. Is into caving, into fishing, into anything. We used to do as a family. We used to do orbs, go out the graveyards and shoot pictures of orbs. So we've always been an exploring kind of family. And then over the last few years, we started having things in the woods happen to us. That's where we started getting into the Bigfoot stuff. And then fast forward after that, truck drive. Yeah. Missy, me and Tina was running team. You know how that is for a few years for
For
Covenant.
who? Who did you
Covenant.
work for? Oh my God. We went to Covenant. We were going to go with them and we didn't. You know what we ended up doing? It was in the heart of winter. We ended up spending a week in Chattanooga.
Right.
And we're at the aquarium every day. We were at the
Okay.
Tennessee Aquarium every day, and we love that. He is just crazy. It's the Sasquatch energy. He's just going crazy.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he is such a good boy. He's such a good boy. Yeah, so then we ended up going for US Express.
Okay, cool.
Them.
Yeah.
And as you know, we went over the road. Now I got cat hair in my mouth. So
Right.
yeah,
Well, that's
so
what
the beginning. That's the beginning. So tell me about in the caves. Did you ever see anything paranormal in the caves? I love caves, like Mammoth Cave. I remember seeing orbs and feeling ghosts and stuff in there. It felt very ghostly. Stop biting me.
Well, we just recently shot a cave a few weeks ago. We went in with 4K. We wanted to get shoot this cave that no one knows about. Because I traded in private cave information in East Tennessee. As far as I'm concerned, I'm still the guy. Because that's what I did forever, and I still know where the private caves are. In caves, there's a cave we call Matt's Cave. The only person ever been is Matt. But anyway, and we were there, like I said last week, or it was only a couple weeks ago when we shot a video, and way back in that cave, I dismissed rods, the flying rods. I dismissed those because I never see them in the wintertime. They came back in the summer, all my home cams. But when we were there a couple weeks ago, sure enough, they was flying. There's no bugs in caves, and so anyway, they was what you call those flying rods. Mm-hmm. So I guess, and well, another one that happened one time, and then another time we were at a cave over here, and I was crawling up beside a rock, and a rock growled at me, kind of, and I felt it right into my system. And Matt was kind of in front of me, and I was coming through, and I was like, "Move, man!" He's like, "What's the matter with you?" And I was like, "Dude, something just growled at me." Later on, we come to find out that was George, our giant friend. And we had kind of had him, he was kind of growling because he was grumpy because we had him kind of pinned in a way, you know what I'm saying? But at that time, and he also told us under that cave, for example, there's an underground lake. And I've heard about it. People used to go down and party down at that lake.
Oh, wow, neat.
And so I'd asked George if, and so I told George, I was like, well, geez, man, he has to move. He moves a big boulder, and goes down. And so I'm like, well, I'd go down there. And he's like, well, you have to move a big boulder. And I said, well, I got a giant friend. So, but then he's kind of like, well, you can find your way, just kind of, but he's gone back up to, he's back with his family now, George the Giant. He is back, up near North Pole, but he's back. We met him a few years ago up in Kentucky. He was the one that came in the middle of the night, and when we were having some crazy experiences. And so anyway, that's how George got involved in We still talk to him all the time. He's doing great.
Yeah, he's back with his family, doing good.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
I'm telling you, this boy has some wild energy today. He's wanting to bite and chew this thing. So, Arthur, you're
High
picking
energy.
up on all this, huh? All this cave energy, all this Sasquatch energy. You're just picking up on it. Have you guys ever been to the Forbidden Caverns? I've never been there, and I'm wondering if it's good or.
Yeah, I don't think so. That was the thing is the public caves is not something we really do. And if we do a public cave,
I'm sure, yeah, if you could do
yeah,
the
I'm trying to
private.
make a deal with them to give me access to the parts that are not public. That's usually about this. So, yeah, because I mean, we know so many private caves and caves that no one's been to that's more beautiful than a lot of these public caves. And so, once you
And are
start
they
getting,
like real caves where they're not been mined, where you have to worry about that there's going to be debris and you're going to get stuck in there because they've been mining or something?
yeah, we're talking real caves. We're talking natural caves, not mining caves. No, we're talking
that is so cool.
real. Yeah, the ones we went to last week or just a couple weeks ago, they had cut a road and by accidentally cut into the side of it. Now it's a wet cave. You walk in water the whole time, but the stalagmites and stalactites are just amazing straws. Like the place is just most decorated. I got a video on our channel that we just put up on that one, and no one's ever seen it. No one, we named it. We named it Meredith's sister because it's beside a cave called Meredith that is also they've got it locked up. It's been locked up for years. I can get into caving for ever and ever. Mm-hmm. But anyway, that's kind of our shortened story as far as I got 3 boys and me and Tana, I worked for Boeing. I was in the Air Force, and then me and her threw I was in IT, and then we threw all that away and just jumped in a truck together. You know how that is. And our last year we were running dedicated San Francisco, carpet out of Georgia, you know what I'm saying, to San Francisco. And then we'd pick FedEx out of LA the next morning and, shoot back to Knoxville. But we would, where was that place we always stayed? Down on the beach on California. Yeah. Oh, she's probably listening to her headphones.
Venice or
okay, he's gonna be just okay. Why are you being impossible today? Get down.
What was that beach that y'all went to in California?
Moss Landing.
Yeah, Moss Landing. So we spent Saturday we would spend on the Golden Gate Bridge. We'd walk out because we delivered in San Fran. So we'd go out and I had one of them little jet burners, and we would sit out there on the Golden Gate Bridge in the middle of the bridge and have a cup of coffee. That was kind of like our regular trip. And then the Monday morning, I think it was, we were at Moss Landing, and then we'd go out and watch the whales and have lunch on the beach, and you know how that is. And then I would drive the ride down to LA, and then she grabbed the load out of FedEx that morning and flip back. But it was a good time. You know how trucking is.
Yeah, it gets a little rough. I mean, with the sleeping and the constant movement and all that stuff. But for me, I mean, I knew we had to do it because it was grid work, and some of these places and spaces you'd never see again unless you found them first in a truck.
Yeah. See, we ran 4s, so we broke the law constantly. We ran 4s, 4 in, 4 in the back, 4 in the front, 4 in the back, 4 in the front. We got pulled over one time, and she, I was asleep in the back, and she said, we got pulled over at a truck stop, of course, and they were going to do an inspection, and she's like, I'm on your clock. And I was like, oh shit. Well, start your pre-trip. Fuck. What are you going to do? Right. Anyway, the guy was waving out the tower, and so she's like, he's waving at us. And I'm like, what? And so she gets out of the truck, and he's like, oh, I seen your yellow California tag. Never mind. You guys go ahead. And I'm like, holy shit. But yeah, we've been, like you said, when you run, you know how it is. We were more concerned about our health than we were.
Yeah, your health.
The law.
Exactly.
Yeah, staying alive.
They want you to average 68 miles an hour or something crazy. And that doesn't even make sense because in California, the speed limit was 55 for trucks and 70 for cars, which makes no sense and is very dangerous, extremely dangerous. We'll come back to that, but we got some comments. We got a comment with Eric. Logically funny, you mentioned Thunderdome. I use that analogy all the time. With this Earth war, no war good, but they are fighting. Who's going to run the border town? And then he's got another comment somewhere. Where's the other?
He's had a brick wall growl. Oh, you
Yeah.
bring it up. There you go.
I had a brick wall growl at me and at me, a growl at me in Eureka Springs, Arkansas. It was a Draco on the other side. Creepy. I do not know what they were then, but I saw it with my third eye. Okay. Yeah.
Interesting. Right. That is pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Oh yeah. So
Yeah.
I want to cover the not so nice, bad, yuck stuff first with what's happening with the Bigfoots. What is this about? What's happening? Why? Who's doing it? So all of it.
Right. I've got my, let's see, you can't see it. Yeah. I've got my notes. I brought a bunch of stuff I wanted to throw out with you.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
like, with Missy, I'm going to throw a bunch of stuff. And I want to tell you about it. I'm going to tell you, we'll get to that in a minute. I know we should be talking about Bigfoot, but I want to talk about this other stuff because it's on my mind. We went camping.
Oh, yeah. No, the caves I want to talk about too, because you guys went to that Lost Sea. And I just want to say this about caves.
We got
I
stuff to say
always
about
thought
that.
Luray, I mean, even if you are into private caves, which would be great, I still think Mammoth Cave, people need to see it just because it's huge. Luray Caverns, people need to see it because it's beautiful. And the Lost Sea, you need to see it because it's just it's coated, it's spectacular.
Wait.
Eternal creation realms of that pristine water flowing through. And you know what? I go to Linville Caverns because it's really sweet, it's convenient, and you know what? When it's hot as hell, it feels pretty damn good to go inside.
Oh yeah, right. That's really good.
Have nature's air conditioning, that water dripping on you. Yeah.
Yeah, wait until I fill you in on Lost Cave. We're going to blow your mind with that one. What's going on underneath that, about 3 miles down? We'll tell you about that in just a second. But I want to tell you, we were camping. We were down Coker Creek, so we're out in North Carolina. We almost thought about just booking on down to your place probably and meet you. But anyway, we was down there we just left, and Matt brought back all kinds of quartz, like you won't believe. He's got a table full of it. It's piled high.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah, and our neighbor, a friend of ours, has got property inside the park, so we just loaded up with quartz. He brought 5-gallon bucket full of quartz.
What kind of quartz, may I ask?
Snow quartz.
Okay, because if you were Robert Simmons, do you know who he is? He wrote the Book of Stones. He coined the term azeztulite, and he charges a lot of money because he says he channels the azez and all this stuff with this quartz. But anyway, go ahead.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, so we were camping, and we didn't really have anything crazy happen, but there was the funniest freaking thing happen. We had this dragonfly that was coming through our camp, right? And it was dodging Matt, right? In a way, it was, I seen it coming. I go, check it out. And so when Matt looked, it went whoop, and it turned. And I'm like, he's dodging you. And it was really funny. So it was big. It was a big dude, right? Looked like a hummingbird when he come through. Anyway, he was messing around. Matt, of course, he did see it. He was messing with Matt.
I keep seeing him in my preview vision. I keep on hearing him, with his little clickety sounds with his wing slaps, So I know he was around, but the whole time I knew he was around me in the preview vision. I'm like, every time I look at him, I see like the back tail of him, and that was all I saw. Like, yeah, he's playing. He's playing.
But we were rocking out some music, right? And it was bringing up the energy just right there and all that quartz. And so the animals were getting crazy. We had 2 owls that were just around us constantly. They were up there hooting. There was no foots because the foots are all in caves. It's too hot. And I don't blame them. They were smart enough to be in the cave. So they wasn't even about. But what happened is I'm sitting there and we're jamming out, and I'm sitting in my lounge chair. And that sucker shot between my legs and through the chair. You talking about laughing my butt off. I could not believe he did it. The dragonfly flew right between my legs underneath the chair. I watched him go zoop, and I go, holy crap, right? So that was hilarious. Yeah, I mean, I just laughed and laughed.
Which color dragonfly was this type?
I think he was just black, because all I could see because he was so fast. I just seen his body. And he never landed. He was just having a great time and partying with us. He was like involved in the energy, But yeah,
it was black with, I think it was white stripes or white dots. Like, it was hard to actually see what the other color was, but it was kind of white is what I was seeing, spots or lines. But yeah, that was the other color.
Yeah, I have a good dragonfly story. I wondered if you heard my dragonfly story, and that's why you brought that up.
I see her.
No, I don't think
you want to hear it.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. I want to
Okay,
say,
told
I want to say
him
hi to
I
say hi to Marge.
because when
Hey,
you said it
Marge.
flew between your legs, I thought that was funny. So this is
Right.
where well, we were in Sedona and we were actually in the truck, and I don't know if we were bobtailing and dropped the trailer somewhere, but we had our cat Soda, who was our previous orange cat, you know, the female orange tabby, which is very rare to begin with, because usually they're male. And we were picnicking and picking the huge, like Marion type blackberries, and we found a swimming hole, which wasn't a lake. It was bigger than a pond, smaller than a lake, and there was this dragonfly, which was he was pretty big, and he was like orange with like these big green eyes and iridescent wings, like these gold wings, and he was coming and hanging out with me, and in a way, and he was talking to me, and I knew he was more than a dragonfly because the way I would think something and then the response would be come in too fast for me to like make it up. You know, it was like instantaneous, and it was like a thing that his energy was electrical. He weighed less than a dime, but when he'd land on me, it was like boom, would activate my kundalini, and he liked me. It was definitely a male dragonfly, and he liked me in a way. This is what Terry said. It was strange, and I lost track of time because it seemed like it was like hours. So yeah, I've had this thing like Chloe where I talk to bugs, like praying mantis.
Yeah. So do
One
we.
time
So,
in
so's Matt.
Georgia, there was a bug that was dying. It was a moth, and this was in Carrollton when Ron was going to work for Holocks, and it was doing this with its arms and legs and all this kind of stuff. And it told me its name was Angelina, and I could feel like as it was going to transition, all this weird coded information with its little insectoid type of fingers. It was doing like some kind of weird, and it was like a transmission. I'm like, wow, this is wild. And I've had the praying mantises come a few times. And one time when I had to get a new car, my old Volkswagen was on the way out. This was in Edisto. It was having a lot of electrical problems. And this was during the La Cucaracha with all the, during that pandemic crap. And there was this big beetle that was coming to me. It sort of looked like a stink bug, which it wasn't a stink bug because those are an invasive species, but it was some kind of weird beetle. And it was talking to me about connecting, being from Mars, and something about I needed to get Mars orange. And then it ends up interesting that I end up with 144 on my license plate. I mean, I thought like, oh, I really don't want a South Carolina anything because I'm more for North Carolina, even though the Carolinas are really one, and that's what I'm going to talk about on Sunday when I talk at the Center for Spiritual Living. And I'm going to get into the whole Fort Sumter thing, and I'm going to get into the time when the Carolinas were just the Carolinas and there was no North and South Carolina. But there was this whole thing with this bug, and I don't know if he was from Mars, but there was some kind of Mars energy, which I have in my chart anyway, being Scorpio and all this stuff. But it was really weird. But then after I got the car, the Kia, it was no more. But it was like for days ahead of time, I'd see this same bug. And sometimes I've had spiders come in. They're actually spies. They're not your typical spider. They're your spies. And one time was after coming back from Linville Gorge, doing night vision there, seeing weird stuff. Arthur? That was Arthur. He knocked his bowl down because that's what he does. I gave him a snack, but he's probably letting me know it's dinner time. Arthur, stop. You're making me lose my train of thought. So anyway, this was the time when Obama used to stay at the Grove Park Inn regularly, and they were patrolling the night sky because that's what they do. They go around and they patrol, and they were spraying chemtrails at night when we were in the gorge. And when we came back, I felt like they knew I had night vision. They were giving me Vita. I think I did have voice to skull then because I had this weird stuff, and it's like they knew what I was going to do before I do it, and I was going to turn on Coast to Coast George Norrie, and I knew that, and there was like some kind of weird aerosol in our garage, and then there was some like loud noise like a bear, and it was just all this weird stuff. And then there was this huge spider, and I knew it was a spy. It's just, weird stuff. You had to be there, but when you put all these things together, you just know that there's something that's watching.
Yeah, you're like us. You have enough experiences, that anecdotal. Our whole life is anecdotal experiences. I mean, we have enough to prove that there's something. There's a lot going on that we don't know anything about. The got a couple things on the dragon. First of all, the essence. The dragon has the essence of the dragon. The dragonfly does.
That does, yeah.
It does have the essence of the dragonfly. And we went up a creek one time in a boat on dragonflies now, and we went up the creek. We went to have a cup of coffee on the side. We pulled over the boat. We went and sat down, and me and him were having a cup of coffee. And right there, we noticed that there was a stick in the ground. The Bigfoots knew we were going to have coffee there. They marked it for us. I'm like, oh, that's cool. But then we got ready to go down the river, and I told the dragonflies, I said, you guys can ride on our bow on the way back. 2 of them landed on our bow and rode the entire trip back, just sitting there on the bow, rode with us all the way back down the river. So that's dragonfly. That was 2 of them. And let me see if I get more. Did it?
If you're getting off the dragonfly, I'll talk about the dragonfly myself.
Oh no, that's it. And also, let me say in the chat, Margie came in. She third eye activated. Love her to death. And Terry, thank you very much. Terry said TKB. He says, I just love how close your family is. More precious than gold. Thank you, Terry. Thank you very much. We appreciate that. Go ahead, Matt.
Right.
Go ahead, Matt, yeah.
You got us all excited because there's so much to talk about. And then I knew you were going to open up a lot of stuff.
Oh yeah. Well, you were bringing up the dragonflies, and I got let me see. I got 2 things of dragonflies. Dragonflies, they carry the ancestors on their back. That's why they have 4 wings. The extra wings is so the ancestors or spirit guides can glide the dragonfly where they want them. So it's like your ancestors are riding the dragon, literally.
Oh, I get chills on that. And you can say it this way, your ancestors, because the ant people.
Yeah, we call it Aunt Sister.
I called it when I was out camping with Dad the other day. It was Aunt Zester, my Aunt Zester.
My Aunt Zester.
Remind me of Sanford and Son, his sister, Sister Sester.
What did he used to say? Oh, I'm coming to see you, somebody.
I'm coming, Elizabeth. I'm coming, Elizabeth. He's hilarious. And then the other part about dragonflies, they predict the insects when they're flying and kill. They predict the flight. They can see which way the insect's going to go, and then that's where they're going to attack. They're energy.
They're definitely energy workers.
They see ahead.
They got to be energy workers.
Right. They see ahead of what's in front of them. So
Oh, wow.
They're like little time travelers.
And they can fly backwards too.
Yes, they fly backwards, glide
like
backwards.
Hummingbirds, because sometimes they almost, when you see a big one, it can feel like a hummingbird almost.
Well, the difference between a hummingbird and a dragonfly is, if I remember this right, a dragonfly can glide. A hummingbird doesn't glide. They have to flap their wings to fly. Now they could drop their wings and do short flights and such like that, but a dragonfly could stay at one spot with the wind and just glide. I've seen it several times, and I even looked it up, and yeah, they do glide. I was making sure I wasn't seeing light fractions where the wings are just steady, but it was steady wings. And they don't always flap their wings. It's interesting.
And another thing on the dragons, I say it all the time. You've probably heard me say it 1,000 times because I'm always reminding people the Appalachian is the male dragon and the Rockies is the female dragon. So our country,
interesting, yeah, because to me it feels like there's more yin energy in the Appalachian because of the type of trees, where the Rockies it's more open.
Yeah, in the Appalachian you get corn, whiskey, coal. In California you get the strawberries and the fruit, the sweet fruit. But the masculinity, I mean, our country is left and right. Really, it really is left and right.
He's crazy. You hear him over
catch
there?
having a ball.
He's knocking all kinds of stuff down. It's you guys. I'm telling you. He wants to be in this. Get your ass over here, and you can be in the. Oh God. Excuse me a second.
Yeah.
There you go. Come on, let's get down now.
Come on, kitty. Yeah, Matt's usually got cats running around.
Yeah.
Our last one got old, and our Bigfoots helped us help him move on. But anyway,
Oh,
yeah, she had broke legs and she was spazzing and she hit her back one night. So that kind of messed her up. And then over a few months, the
Our
Bigfoot
Bigfoots help
them.
us help these
Helped her.
animals move on sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But speaking of the Appalachian dragon and the other one being dragons, and if you start looking at it, you'll see the correlation. But also the Lost Sea is where the male gonads is, and 3 miles underneath the Lost Sea, there's a walk. There's a cave that gets to it. That's what I call the Fountain of Youth. And right now, there's about
In where again?
Lost Sea underneath
I
it.
can see that's a Fountain of Youth, definitely.
Yeah, it's about 3 miles or 2 miles underneath the Lost Sea, and there's about 30 rangers that have been there over 30 years, still there. Now they had lost each other about a year ago when we talked to them, and we just went by there going to our camping this weekend, and so we asked how things are going, and the guys found each other. The rangers did.
One platoon of 15 found the other platoon of 15. And that's how there's 30 now, is because I didn't know about the other 15 that was already down there before them. And that's the new information that we got, was that there's 30 now, because they finally hooked up together and they try to keep their distance from each other because sometimes they just like start spazzing out. You never know within those 5 minutes of craziness. And then the very
right. And that part there it's like where Bigfoots go to holiday vacation, but they also take their kids there to break them of fear at a very young age, because it's really crazy. But you'll get they have like battles or whatever, and everything gets tore up and your arm comes off but you heal. So you never die there. That's one of those kind of places. And one of the recent things we just found out this just 2 days ago, yesterday or the day before, was that's your cat. He's into it, ain't he? But anyway, he's into the energy.
I said before, for those just watching.
The return of vampires.
He's crazy today.
Yeah. Well, one of the rangers was telling about, because Matt was telling them they've actually found each other and they're working together. 2 platoons right now are working together. They've been down there 30 years. The government just left them. Well, they haven't been able to get back up because they went through this. They've been going through this for almost 30 years, and they didn't know if they could make it back up. But now they're working together. But one of the things I thought was fascinating was when they first saw the platoon, they said they both did it. That when one guy saw another, they both just looked away, said, "That's my body. I'm dead."
Just that's what a mirror. Like they thought they were looking at a mirror on the algae, and they just thought that's themselves. Like it's just a mirror. It's I'm dead.
They both looked away
over.
at the same time. They were like, "We're dead," but then they realized, "I'm not dead. We're not dead.
We're real. We're actually
real."
Whoa!
But I mean, yeah. So that's really, we don't know when they're going to come back up, but we also know to get there, you have to microdose to get there and back. That's the kind of place this is, and so that's one of those future caving journeys that we plan on making, because there is a route to it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's so interesting. Wow.
Yeah, I know, right? When you say it's wild, because it is kind of like, whoa.
Well, what I want to ask you is, what are the different races and species of Bigfoots? Because some people say some of them are not interdimensional. I kind of think, aren't they all interdimensional?
Well, there's actually quite a difference. It was a live that we just heard this morning, and they were talking about the African Bigfoots or something like that. And holy crap, that African Bigfoot had necklaces, had gems or something else, and stuff on his head, like he had some type of jewelry or clothing or something like that, and it was different crystals.
Kind of like that thumbnail I designed? Me with the bling? I had to have
You had the bling. Yeah, exactly right.
And my
Yeah, stuff
hair
like
done,
that.
And my nails done. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's an aspect of me as a Sasquatch. I call her Sassy Squatch, and I've made some artwork, like painted on these little wood things, and she's got like blonde and purple pink hair, and has her nails done and stuff.
Yeah, and just locally though, to give you an idea, species of Volkswagens, species of Bigfoots, where that crossed. We were I asked Matt this morning, or asked Matt that we were going down, and I was like, see, we go down to North Carolina, down in your area, for what we call boogers. It's a different it's different type of Bigfoots. And so I asked Scott, I was like, "Are you guys ask Scott as he can?" And he says, no, we're cousins." And that's a different type of Bigfoot. The ones down in North Carolina, I call them boogers. In Georgia, North Georgia, Alabama, they're smaller. They're a lot of times people call them shadow people because they're really fast. They play this game where they run behind you and touch you, and you're like, "Someone just touched me." Play tag. They run so fast. And I've had one put their leg on me camping one night. I was put his hand on me one night, can't put it on my leg. I was sleeping, and it put his hand in it, and I felt it, but it was like a mother's hand, you know. And then I was like, "Oh," and I rolled over, and it lifted its hand. But anyway, we've had, and we didn't have no experience this weekend with them because they wasn't around. And I don't blame them. Like I said, they was in cages this weekend. They're smart enough to go for cool ground, you know.
Well, there's also other Bigfoots that, and Janice Carter talked about that they'll actually wear clothing. They'll go to garbage dumpsters. They go to dumpsters with certain type of clothings, and they just wear certain clothings and shirts and pants and certain things, you know, to blend in sometimes to match in with the colors with other people around.
Yeah, and when Scott went down to visit Chloe, you know, one morning I woke up and I got a message from Chloe, and she's like, "Your Bigfoots came here," and she'd never seen them before. And anyway, they had rode on George's back across the Pacific. Scott did. Scott is a Bigfoot. I mean, Scott's the Bigfoot. That's one he's been talking to.
He's not the one that is he the one that got injured?
He didn't get injured, but he was involved in that whole thing. No, that was Isaac. That's Christopher.
I'll let you tell that story after this.
Yeah, that's Christopher. Yeah, sure. We'll go into that in a minute. But but anyway, so on the way back, George took Scott through Russia where he saw a Yeti, and even Scott was like, "Oh my God, look at the size of this thing." It shows you this, you know, you want to try. I mean, I'm trying to analyze your question. How many species are there Bigfoots? They're just, who knows? Because even Scott was like, "I can't believe it. He was huge and he's white and he's a giant," you know. So they are blown away.
Yeah, he was Scott. What also blew him up was he's showing me now that he was white, but he had blue skin. I thought that was interesting. It was tan blue skin.
So is he a chimera? This is another question. I feel some of them could be chimeras. So I think there's some that are natural, like it could be either like the Neanderthal or the original people that lived on the earth before what we are came, and they genetically modified us, maybe with them or with somebody like them, or I don't know. Some could be like Nephilim, I think, possibly, with some kind of hairy something. But the blue makes me think of those Indian beings like Shiva and all that. Like a blend with, I'm getting chills now, like with the Shiva and the Bigfoot, or this. I've heard they also don't like to be called Bigfoot. They want to be called Sasquatch, or does that depend on the breed?
Yeah, it depends on forest people, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, ours wants to be called. Well, he doesn't really care for any names, but what he's saying is just like we're just forest farmers. The way he wants to be seen would be what he does is farming the forest, trying to keep the forest up and kind of help the forest out. Is what he's going for. The other Bigfoots, they could be like spiritual workers. They could be so many other things. Some are just lost and just doesn't need a name, you know, because they're just running. But there's so many other varieties. There's big to small to medium, and some it's just it's such a variety.
5-toe, 6-toe, and you know we learned something this weekend that I didn't know about that's kind of put in question, like you were talking about these different species. Was we didn't know this, but when we used to be the giants. We used to live to 1,000 years.
Right. And when you say giants, did you mean Titans or Olympians? Because there's also a difference with all that too.
Yeah. See, I'm just talking about height. I'm talking about height because you can explain it. But when we lived to be 1,000, we could grow to a height. And when you take a species and you keep cutting their life down, and now we're down to 100. That's why we have no size no more. But we used to be the giants. So that's confusing to people. A lot of people don't realize that we were the giants at one time.
Yeah. It's if you leave a human to live to 1,000 years, he'll be a giant. it's that type of concept. And are they Titans or are they not? Well, the Titans were the bigger ones. They're the ones that was coming from off planet, coming onto this planet, while the dragons were of protecting the Earth between Maldex. They don't like being called Maldex. I guess you could call it Asgard, the asteroid belt. You know, that was the planet of theirs, and then that got exploded during the whole Dragon War and Titans, and Gaia had to create her babies to protect the Earth, which is the dragons and so many other beings.
Okay, wait, back up. So in that lineage, who are the is it the gnomes or the trolls? Do they connect to the Bigfoots at all in the North?
They're the spiritual guiders to help the details of the forest.
Okay.
Protection. The fairies and such like that, they came after the innocence was protected on Earth, which is where we're at. You know, so that'll be after the Titans, and where the two, see, China or Japan, I forgot which one it was, but they were the ones that found the yin yang and the story of it in the very beginning. And I believe the true yin yang story was founded from them, from the landing of the dragons on America, being the yin yang female and male dragon. That was one of my previous things I've heard a while ago, but it's been a while since I was able to bring up the topic again. But they got the yin yang from the two dragons coming down. And trying to catch up to what you were just saying.
I want to throw in.
And then Eric's got a question there too. While you're thinking, maybe Jim, you could address that real quick while Matt's thinking about where he's going to go.
Okay, yeah, I just want to say that the fairies, they have basically a civilization. It's on the rings of Jupiter or Saturn. Do you remember which one it was? But anyway,
yeah, the fairies on the rings.
Yeah, and a lot of little people. The reason that people like they're grumpy, and they're small, and if you're small, you get stepped on a lot. So there is a good reason why a lot of the small people they're like the little people. Yeah, they can be very very annoyed if you were small and someone steps on you or sits on you. They get very annoyed. So that's one reason why they're grumpy. I'm just throwing in little tidbits of villains I'm seeing. So what was Eric saying? We got for me 2B, me 4. Good to see you coming in.
Yeah, thank you for coming in. And then he says, Missy, are there any Bigfoots that are small enough to jump the upper tree canopies from tree to tree in the forest? So like little Tarzans.
Let me catch it. I mean, yes, there is lots of them. Well, okay. I guess there'll be, but yes, from what I see, there is like several of them.
And I'll fill you in a couple facts.
Yeah.
And this comes from George the Giant, so I think we have good evidence. Giants start at 20 foot and above. A teenage giant might be 20 foot. Now, Bigfoots get up to about 20 foot. And like I said, that information comes from George the Giant, so hey, that's good information. So that give you an idea. A Bigfoot that's almost 20 foot, if he's 20 foot, he could probably jump over a tree pretty easily.
Mm-hmm. Well, the one that I think Eric was talking about was crap. I'm trying to catch in my head. The Bigfoot. It doesn't have to be big or small to jump over a tree.
I want to say that they've got like what I call like that cricket thing in their leg. A lot of people
arms.
they can kick it. They got a cricket thing going on. They could boop it.
Yeah. How crickets could jump triple their height. Yeah, that's what they got going on. That's why they run so fast, because they got cricket legs. They jumping it with every bam of their legs. They pop them knees,
But Scott has explained to us how you run so fast and your spirit's moving so fast that he calls it going radioactive. Listen to the song about Firm sometime when you get a chance in the lyrics. Are radioactive, and it you'll see what's going on, because your spirit rules this world. We are material in the spirit world, not the opposite way around. Anyway,
well, the other police had a song about that.
We are material in the spirit world.
We are
But-
spirits in the material world.
That's backwards. We are material in the
Oh,
spirit
Jesus.
world. No,
Oh,
she sung
okay.
the song. Yes, you're right. It's backwards. We are material in the spiritual world. Get it? I mean, we are material in the spirit world is what the spirit world is where it's at. Everything is always spirit before it comes physical. And in Scott's example, where he's running so fast by spirit that he busts through the sound, he busts through this physical world. He goes, you'll hear him coming through the trees like a bulldozer, but there'll be no damage because he's moving in spirit. But he is busting trees in his
Well,
spirit.
because he's
he
out
is
of the
busting trees.
Matrix, and I think that song is like the Matrix. You know, like if you're in the material world, that's being in the Matrix.
Yeah,
Mhm.
right.
And see what I was saying, that he was running so fast. It's not that he's running fast. It's just that no, okay. It was like a what was it? Jumper. He's like jumping, running so fast that he's jumping. So it's like
I got an example.
telepathic.
Yeah.
What was it? I'm trying to get that word. I'm bad with them words. But what he's doing is he sees the ridge that he wants to go to, and he just goes. That's how the spirit just knows where he's going. And anything in between will make so much sound, but there'll be no damage because the spirit just he made his physical bust through into the veil of spirit. So any form that's in front of him, in between from him to where he's going, would crack and bust in the spirit world. But in the physical world, his physical didn't bust the physical. So the physical got transported through. So it's making the sound in the physical world another dimension that's happening because not all planets have this dimension of sound.
Right.
So that's the other part of we're being a dimension of sound. That's a frequency. That's something that
Okay.
crystals do.
I
Yeah.
have a story about that, but I want to show you something that I find hilarious. First of all, can you see what this is, or not really?
A Bigfoot.
Oh, I can open it up.
There
Looks
we
like a
go.
Bigfoot. Hold an American flag there,
Yeah.
trucking or something.
Keep on trucking almost. And then the guitar dude is Bob Weiner, really Bigfoot.
Ah,
See the face? That's
Yeah.
Bob Weir from the Grateful
Weird.
Dead.
Weird.
Grateful Dead. Yeah.
You know, I'm a Grateful Dead fan. I was coming back from Cherokee at the casino that my friend, gets rooms at the casino. And we went through Maggie Valley, and there's a shop there on 441 when you're coming down the mountain. And it's got all these blankets and, all this Bigfoot paraphernalia. Where there's a blanket there, they only had the one, so I couldn't get it, which was Bob Weir holding the American flag. It's the face of Bob Weir with the body of Bigfoot. So my friend made this thing as Bob Weir Bigfoot. But so because there was so much energy around that, and that was the night of October 12th, this was in 2023, and that was my mother's birthday. That night, going into the next day around 2 or 3 in the morning, I had the window cracked. It was a little bit cool, and I heard them. I finally got to hear them, and it was like singing and screaming and a cry and all these like sequences, but it was layered like water almost. And it was like, I recorded my voice doing it, which I could send you, but I have to actually listen to that again because it's faded from memory. But in that moment, I remembered it, and I was getting because it was telepathing with me too. And it was saying, this is how we open the portal. We use sound.
Interesting. Yeah, we were camping. You remind me of the story where we couldn't explain the sound. We were camping up in Kentucky, and 3 owls came in on us and it started off hoot, hoot, hoot. And me and him were excited. We put a whole bunch of gifts out, right? But see, we're from John's. I'm going to say his last name. I'm going to say our name. Our great grandfather, his name is John, and he actually shook hands with the Bigfoots. He saw a Bigfoot. This is our great grandfather. That's why that's why we're associated with Bigfoots, because of our family. Anyway, he saw a Bigfoot behind a tree, and the Bigfoot fell down, and John laughed at him. And of course, the Bigfoot got up. They ended up shaking hands, and John worked with them forever. And so that they came in on us, and they were excited because we're John's family, and we didn't know that at that time. But they started off hoot, hoot, hoot. And by the time they got to us, they started to sound like orangutans. And then, like you said, a sound we cannot duplicate. We're like you. We cannot. The sounds they made as they came in on us. I went for the truck. By the time I touched the car door, they were coyotes, 3 coyotes coming in on us. But I couldn't handle their energy, which is something, everybody's got to get used to handling the energy of that, because Bigfoots are big energy, right? Big.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just want to say, yeah, we still cannot duplicate the sound they make, because it's insane.
Mm-hmm.
It is. And I think he did it like 7 or 8 times, and I got it was a male. It was definitely a male. And my husband used to like to knock on the trees, like when we were in Chimney Rock, it was like, and then you'd hear, and then my one friend had the rocks thrown on her house, and then other investigators I know, the trees, they do this. They bend the trees.
Yeah.
But
I've not seen one physically or smelled it. Do
we
they
haven't
always
smelled one.
smell? Do
No,
they
I've
always
smelled.
smell?
No.
Matt's seen them and smelled them. I haven't.
Well, that was during some time periods. This was when we were thinking they were predators and so many other things that was going on at the time. Our experience in Kentucky, where they came down on us like a thunderstorm with the trees busting in their heads up above us and such like that. So there was a lot of fear at the time. So just had to put that in there so people get an idea what's going on. But that time period, every time I'd lock up the chickens and such, at night, there was a couple nights, about 3 nights, one night, and then a few months later, another night, and a few months later, another night. I smelt this. What is it? It was a dried, rotted blood smell. Like, it is freaking disgusting. Yeah, I don't know what that was about. It wasn't like a dead animal. There's totally difference between a dead animal and the smell of what that was. That was totally different. It was like he put blood all over itself, and then it was just like, I don't know what happened. It was horrifying. It was nasty. And I was several times, but I haven't smelt that for a long time now. It's been about 3 years since. And then I saw them walking up the chickens. I went by the cow field. I went by the cow field to go drop a leak, and then I noticed the light was going on and off to my left, and I looked up, and it was the moon flashing on and off by a tree that was coming in front of it completely. It's a huge tree. I'd try to do a video of it one day on my channel. He was swaying this huge tree so far to one side of the moon to the complete opposite side of the moon. And I see him up there, and then after about the 7th time, still in disbelief, smack myself, pinching myself, and just like turn around and look back, and because I heard that if you just look away, he'll be gone. That's how it works, right? So that's why I tried, and he was still there. So after the 7th time, I stopped counting. I just noticed that he was up there, and he's finally slowing down, and he's coming down the tree, and he showed his whole body how big he is, and then he kept on coming on down. I saw him by the last branch I saw. He was coming down. I was like, well, I'm going to go inside the house before he made it to the bottom. So at least I'll be inside getting tormented.
And what color was he? Because the colors mean something. Like some are darker brown, some are lighter black brown.
Well, it's a silhouette. So I'd say it was just completely black. But he could have had red and so many other colors. But he had long hair underneath his armpit area. His, what do you call that? His muscle. This part. He had long hair down here.
Biceps.
Biceps. That's it. Yeah. He had long hair down there. And he was just full of hair. He didn't have a neck. He had a short neck. And he was really broad at the shoulders. Everybody talking about 4 foot across. Yeah, I agree. It was about 3-4 foot across. Like it was busky.
And we've kind of, one of the things about the smells that we've kind of figured out recently, we didn't know, but they eat thistle. They love thistle. They eat very nutritional stuff. And what you're smelling is when they sweat. They also eat dandelions. Now, if you've ever made dandelion coffee, tea, right. Yeah, you ever smell it? It dries. It smells like shit. right? And so they eat the hell out of dandelions. They eat the hell out of thistle. They use thorn bushes to their teeth are beautiful. They use thorns to floss with.
No, they don't like.
Oh my God!
They just chew on it. They chew on it, and the thorns get in between the cracks of their teeth, and then they're able to just like get their teeth clean and spit out the thorns. And sometimes they swallow it. I think. No, I don't think he swallows it unless he chews it.
Offerings, don't they? They like the treats.
Well, we thought that, but not with ours. See, with Scott, we were like, his birthday is whenever the flower from the poplar tree falls. That's when he knows when his birthday is. And so when his birthday come around one year, we're like, well, cake. No. We're like, what's going on? Peanut butter, huh? Apple. And I couldn't figure it out. And me and Matt was kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of weird. But he wanted us to bless the land with tobacco. And we're like, okay. So we went up on top of
How old is he?
What I got was he's 21.
Turned 18,
20.
19, 20. Might be turning 20.
He got to be 21 this year.
Right.
I think he just turned 21 this year. If not, he's turning 21 coming up.
Right.
But yeah.
But
Actually, 200.
yeah, but then Chloe thinks he's 121 or 221. So
Yeah.
Right.
Because they can live up to a couple hundred years, maybe 500 years is I think what she said, which probably is true. Me, I'm just seeing it as like my age with his age. That's how I was checking the frequency with him. And so for his age, his size of him being of who he is to my age and my being and how humans are, that's how I checked up with him. So he's about 21. He's younger than me, but he could be an extra 200 years.
Yeah. See, he's black, 5-toe, mom black, 5-toe, dad red, 6-toe. So
6-toe. Okay,
yeah,
so
red.
that's got to connect to the RH negative Nephilim or
Right,
Tuatha-De-Dan.
Right. Well, I mean, I'm A positive. Chloe's A positive.
I'm O positive.
I'm A positive too.
Yeah, you and me and Chloe are all A positive. Ain't
Because
that something?
that's the German, Norwegian. That's not.
You need.
My grandmother was an RH negative though.
Okay, you need the gold, colloidal gold, whatever you call it, colloidal.
Colloidal silver.
Us A plus people, we need gold for our blood and for our electricity and communications and all that good stuff.
Yeah, of us old people, old positive, we need copper. We got copper hair growing on our heads. We need copper.
And then you got to start looking at copper. You got to go, where's copper come from? A copper messenger? Is that Mercury, or is that Mars, or is that?
Yes, copper is.
Okay, I got him confused.
Mercury. Okay, that's different.
Mercury's communication, but you always hear women are from Venus. That's copper.
That's copper.
And men are from Mars. That's iron.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And you start going, is there any truth to any of that? There is a lot of connection there. And then you were talking about Mars earlier. So we've talked a lot from Mars. He talks to one guy that's from Mars, that Andromedon, I think his name is. But the thing is the Martians, right? You never hear about the Martians no more. What happened to the Martians? Which he actually is not a Martian, but Kevin. His name is Kevin too, right? You go, really? He's a Martian, man? Are you?
He lived on Mars. He lived on Earth.
Yeah. When I talked to Chloe last night, I was getting this thing about like we see on Star Wars Chewbacca and the spaceships with that, but that's more of a hybridization where I think the original being does not need a ship. They can just transdimensionally, what do you call it? Transmigratory. There's a word for it. Is it translocate or transcend or transfigure? Go to another dimension and take everything with them in an orb, which is how we're supposed to do it, I think.
Yeah, exactly. Because all the metal, all the crafts that you see, they're made of metal. That's man's. The ones like if you look at all the orb releases, it's always about the yellow mothership that's releasing these red orbs. I'm like, that's more like it. Yeah. But if it's metal, no, that's like men's stuff.
Well, it's a Kevin's showing me if you see fabric flowing up in the air and it's a ball of light or something like that, sometimes there'll be no light. It'll just be ball fabric. If you feel it, it'll be solid, but it's a fabric. That's their spaceships. It's made out of fabric, and it's asteroid belt stuff, minerals. Some parts of it is close to the sun, so they can get through certain atmospheres. Of certain burns.
and that same material, you wear it, and it's bulletproof, and it's also temperature, and it does it all, right? I mean, that's the material.
It's soft, so it's able to really form into a certain teardrop, so it can really go into the water fast. So many other ways. It's fabric. It's super fluent. Like if you jump off a cliff, I've done it myself, into water. I didn't do it on the land. I went straight to water. But if you jump off a cliff and you stiffen yourself and embrace and hit, you can make a big hard splash like a rock hitting the water. But if you do this, is you jump off and you loosen up and just like let the water flow past you, you make no sound going through the water. And that's what they do with their fabric machines. It's very loose, very soft, and just go thump.
Well, Eric's got a affirmation here because we're going to be in some unseasonably hot temperatures over this weekend, which is the 250th birthday of our nation. And so he's saying gentle wind, gentle rain, gentle temperatures, hail less is best. And also, I mean, Jason just said he was in 100 degrees. So this is like
Wow.
hot, you know.
Yeah, we're in a hot tub. Now, CERN was running from the 14th to the 29th of June. I always try to remind everybody.
CERN,
Yeah, the 29th.
Party.
Yeah, right. Tell me about it, right?
Years, but are there other? I just talked about
Yes.
this on the last show. Are there other hadron?
Yes,
colliders?
Celerons. Yeah, there's other Celerons bumping.
Accelerators.
Celerons.
Okay, there's that called.
Neutron Celerons. Yeah, accelerators. What do you call it?
Accelerators, but yeah.
But they're bumping the timeline. So, yesterday you lost that one sock. You're on the wrong timeline. So tomorrow you'll be like, here's my sock. You got bumped back. Yeah, they're bumping it. That just screws with our brains, right? Screws with everything.
Mm-hmm.
Predictive
I think there's one
programming calling for nasty storms, high heat, entire Midwest, all the way to the East Coast. Please help mitigate the weather prediction. Yeah, we're working on that.
Yeah, I think one issue we have out there in Arizona or New Mexico, there's a what do you call the accelerators? That's why there's a lot of weird frequencies out there at times, and some people in Arizona be like, "What the heck's up with this day?" or something like that, because New Mexico or one of those states has the accelerator that's running, and that's why I've been noticing this whole past June was that there was some weird frequency going on the whole past June. It's like, what the heck is this energy? And it was CERN that was going on the whole entire month from 14th to 29th or something. But
I know we got one here in Oak Ridge. What is that thing called? But we got one here.
Spallation neutron source.
Yeah, spallation neutron source. So we have one, I don't know, 15, 20 miles from us.
over the ridge and across the creek.
Yeah.
Literally. But yeah.
I think a lot of people forget to count that.
I want to get into weather and weather modification, data centers, and a bunch of other things, but we do need to hear, to put it to rest, what exactly happened. I mean, I listened to something, but the audience hasn't heard about the Bigfoots. What happened with the Rangers and things?
Okay, let me fill you in, because what happened is I went one direction because I'm Gemini, and then I went the other direction, and then I went back, right? And you understand. I tell you what I get, and then I'm wrong, and I go, oh nope, I was wrong, and I'm wrong all the time and I'm kind of like a blabbermouth. So when I get news, I speak it. You know what I'm saying? I feel I'm going to tell people. I don't care if people think I'm crazy. I'm going to tell people what I find out. And what had happened was Scott and Jacob, Christopher Jacobs, his Bigfoot friend is Isaac, and they took him out. They got Isaac. They got another one. They were coming through Oklahoma kind of area at the time, and it was bad, and so two of them got taken out. Matthew could tell you more details. He's talked to Scott specifically. Now Scott's come back to the Appalachian. He's taken cover, and this started like last summer.
Yeah, about it started about August of last year, and then because that's when he started going blackout. Like there's some trippy things going on, as in like they're getting scoped out, not scope, but that word, spied on, something like that.
Rangers.
Some unmarked rangers were I'm trying to find that word, but it's okay. just snooping in on them, and he was feeling like something's watching him type of deal. So he's like had to watch his guard completely. And Isaac, I think he was just a good go happy Bigfoot, you know.
Yeah, great guy.
A great guy.
Yeah,
He's way open
we've been-
for lots
we've
of
been-
good people,
Yeah,
you know, but he's
we've
very
been listening
protective.
to Isaac's, for a long time on the Christopher Jacobs channel because he gets reads from Isaac's all the time. Isaac's has been he's a light worker.
Yeah.
They're after the Bigfoot light workers, the one that are out there talking, and they got him. They got Isaac anyway. So anyway, that happened, and then just recently, Kentucky got rid of 4,000, 3,000. 1,800 wild pigs, right? They went through and shot them. LBL, the land between the lakes. And see, that's one of the most popular places where people have experiences. So I got that mixed up because I thought that was part of it, but that wasn't. And luckily, Scott came in and told us, well, don't get crossed into that because technically, yeah, they did have an overpopulation of pigs, and it wasn't like a horrible thing that the government did. But anyway, so I got sidetracked and started going off on that topic. So I'm pulling that back.
Land
That's
between the lakes, is that near Lake Cumberland? Did you used to live in that area
Dropping
then?
it too short.
okay.
You
You
used
see,
to
I'm
live
dropping
in
to.
the- did
It's
you
like
used to live in the Lake Cumberland area?
It's over near. I think it's over near Nashville. It's northwest Tennessee, on the Kentucky-Tennessee line, West Tennessee.
I
It might
thought
be-
Lake Cumberland was very magical when I was there.
Yeah. Well, LBL is, you can imagine there's a lot of people have great experiences there. So it's become a pretty popular. I mean, that's a big Bigfoot camping place now. A lot of people want to go to LBL because that's normally where they have the experiences. And Matt says I'm cutting it short. Go ahead.
Yeah, you're you gotta like speed. I know.
got an hour or so I'm running.
It's
already been an hour.
Scott. Okay, now the 1,800 hogs that got cut out. Yes, it was needed, but what was needed to be restored, was that there is the off-branch rangers that did kill, possibly or collected up at least 2 Bigfoots, let alone what they did to the other Bigfoots while trying to trap them. And I don't know if they actually did catch him or not because Scott's still in dark, blacked out where he's hiding in Appalachia somewhere where he's like doesn't want to be seen, nor does he want to meet up with another Bigfoot yet because they're supposed to be hiding right now too. Damn it. This is what I'm seeing from them.
They're supposed to be.
They're supposed to be right now. If you see one right now, they're not really knowing what's going on in the moment.
You may feel that way.
Yeah, go ahead if you
Okay.
remember.
Yeah, I remember. Okay, so what we're supposed to do is put in the hearts of those rangers to kill fair, right? Also, to maybe want to think about working with the Bigfoots, but that's what Scott has told us to do is in those rangers that are doing this to put into their hearts to be fair. If you're going to kill pigs, take a good shot, be fair. And also, what they do to the Bigfoots, they need to think. That's what he's asked us to do: is put it in their heart to do the right thing, maybe even work with the Bigfoots.
Yeah. Well, it's he's showing.
And they're only, again, I'm clarifying, they're killing the boars because of overpopulation because they're damaging or they're hurting other things. That's the reason, right?
Yeah. The boards is that's Kentucky's reasons. Well, Scott's also kind of showing you that they just shoot, kill, drop even the piglets. And he's like, now there's not really a good balance with that. Those pigs should be going to the slaughterhouse for the public.
It's
like
sad because you know what? I'll tell you one thing.
$500 for each pig they brought down.
They say domesticated pig is a cross between the wild boar and a human.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's the thing is a lot of people eat weak-spirited food. Like we don't eat chicken for a good reason. We don't eat moo, or we don't eat lambs. We eat hog. We eat pork, and that is a very good. If you get wild hog, you're going to get strong spirit. Now you might get sick because you know what? That spirit of that hog can reject you. If you're not a strong spirited person, you will get sick trying to eat something
biblical.
strong. Yes,
Because
and
in
that's
the Bible, didn't they cast the spirits into the hogs? But what about the thing? Have you heard about?
Because
I'm
the
a
hogs will eat
I'm a
them.
vegetarian. I don't eat any.
Because it's a weak
I
spirit.
don't eat any animals. I'm
Holy crap!
vegetarian.
I did see.
But he's a carnivore. Uh-oh. Look what he did.
Get it, Arthur.
Hey, Arthur, get it. Get it, Arthur, get it.
Sorry.
Arthur's a party animal. Gene, hey. Now,
But anyway,
Gene,
what I was going to say is, have you heard that pigs, not boar, is a cross between the boar and the human?
could be.
It's genetically modified what you would get in a grocery store.
Well, there's certain stuff you get at the grocery stores. Maybe what McDonald's will pick up if they do sell pork. I don't think they do, whether they do or not. But there's doesn't matter for that type. But there is genetically modified pigs that are like more like human or something like that. They just didn't get. What happened is they got domesticated, and now the domestication is like the pigs are matching the energy of the people are taking care of them. So they're just like matching that energy, which is a human. So their energy is more of like, well, everything's fine. We just keep on going with the whole crowd, because pigs, they're very strong, very independent, very loves. They're full of love. They don't care. They just run full hearted. I mean, they'll eat the babies and such like that, but there's so many.
Yeah.
There's very smart. Yeah. People even have pigs as dogs. So
train them in a litter box and all that kind of stuff. That's pretty cool.
Right. Here, let me draw a picture for you. They don't do lab experiments on black rats, only white. Now, if you take turkeys and you domesticate them, they'll turn white. Everything that's white bread, white sugar, it's washed. It's been removed. The nutrition. Melanated people. That's why they want them. That's why they want to eat melanated people, because they are nutrition. And so, going on to your thing, talking about what were you talking about? Because I was trying to lead on back to that. The hog. Same thing. The buffalo. You can't eat buffalo right now because they have tamed it. The spirit is not right. You can't go. If you can eat wild buffalo, good. But you don't want to eat because their spirit it's sad. You know what I'm saying? You go, I'm going to eat wild buffalo. No, I'm going to eat store-bought buffalo that's been raised inside of a fence. That's not the energy you want. So that gives you some ideas. I mean, because everything white has been washed. And that's what, look at me, I'm a white guy. My DNA, my strength, everything has been watered down, right? I'm like white sugar. I'm like white bread. Don't have any, because when we take white sugar, we have to add molasses because we need to add minerals. You have to take our white salt. We have to get the right salt to add minerals. You have to add minerals to.
Like Celtic salt or something, yeah.
Yeah. We actually use salt you buy at the Tractor Supply for your pets because it has everything in it.
Yeah.
So, what is it called?
For your cattle.
You can just go to Tractor Supply in your big old giant bag, and you'll see the ingredients. They put.
What is it called? What kind of salt?
It's at the Tractor
Mineral
Supply.
salts.
It's just
Mineral
salts for your animals.
Oh,
It's a
salt for
mineral
your
salt
animals.
bag.
So it's not iodized salt.
No, but the difference is we go to the store and you pick up a can. It tells you the vitamins. If you go to Tractor Supply and you pick up something, it would tell you iron, copper. It tells you the minerals. Who cares about the vitamins? You want the minerals. And then bag. Yeah, the bag of salt at Tractor Supply, you will be amazed that their salt, all the minerals listed. Now you get it and it's kind of gloopy or whatever, and you kind of like put it in the oven, dry it off, and put it through the machines, and then you can find it out. But that's where you get you got to get your minerals.
Arthur, one of his favorite foods that we like to share is seaweed. Arthur loves seaweed, and you get your minerals from seaweed.
Right.
You got minerals. He's looking for that.
Yeah,
mineral.
and seaweed, you're looking at algae. When you're looking at algae, you're looking at
salt algae too.
Yeah, the deeper you go down in the earth, the purer things get. People think, oh, it's underground, it's getting dirty. No, the deeper you go, the water that comes deeper from below, that's the healing water, like the Ozark waters. That's why they have it blocked off. They don't have it blocked off. You just have to pay to go into a building that they put on top of it. And a lot of the other healing falls, of which all across this country, they've made it you can't get in them. But these are waters that came from the depths, which means they're purifying, which means they're healing, right? Because it's pure. Same thing with algae, and like you said, that seaweed. It's healing. It's nutrition.
Like in Hot Springs, North Carolina, since the pandemic, you're not allowed to fill up anymore, and they charge a fortune just to go sit in those hot tubs. But when I went to Arkansas, you could go in the downtown area and they have fill stations. You could just fill up, and I'm telling you, everybody says it's the crystals going to Arkansas. Yeah, it is the crystals, but even more so, it's the water. You start bathing in that water, you start drinking in that water, it shifts your energy. You feel amazing.
Well, that water is all because of the minerals, and all them minerals are getting into your skin. You actually drink through your skin. Like
That's
I've done it
right.
myself with gold painting. I've been in the water for so long, I didn't drink water for 2-3 days.
That's what we did this weekend. We stood in the water down there because we know what we're doing. And the thing is, if you step in the water, when you get in the water, talk to the water. The water has everything in it. And say, water, can you heal me? And it will. It will give you the salt. It'll give you the iron. The water will give you everything. And that's another thing is we went recently, we were out in our boat and we were a part of a lake and it smelled real fishy and all. We got in that lake. Oh my God, I got home and I was just so relaxed because of all the minerals in your lakes and your springs. You know, it's really good. But we got to get back to the chat because there's a lot of people asking questions in there. By the way.
Yeah, there's so many in here. I love it. Redmond salt is good. People are saying Redmond's. I remember that. So if I'm looking down, I'm reading the chat on my phone. It's easier than seeing it up here.
Right.
Hot Springs at
Goats.
John Dunn Brigg. Okay.
We're going to ask him.
Worst thing is you can do is
You
paint
gotta
your
talk about
nails
Gene,
because
too.
your nails is a detox. You shouldn't. Okay. Yeah, there's a lot in the chat here.
Yeah, there's a lot there. And I think, go ahead. You want to ask, hey, Matt, you want to answer?
Answer one question.
Go
Is
ahead.
the goats.
Yeah,
Now, I say, from what I could tell with goats, they're actually really good. Now, sheep, I don't think so. Sheep is really meant for the fur. They were designed for the fur. Probably need to use them for the fur. It's kind of like chickens. You have them for the eggs. You don't really need to eat them or you lose your eggs.
Yeah.
So it's like you work with the balance with what's in front of you. Now, goats, I say, shoot, if you got mountain goat, you're winning.
Oh, yeah.
You're winning.
Right.
But,
I would say raisin goat would be great because they are happy and, you know, same thing as pigs. Now, see, the thing is your store-bought pigs,
Well,
they're ornery.
Well,
so
they're
still got their spirit.
sorry.
Go ahead.
Well, they're ornery, the pigs, yes. But there's goats that fainting goats and such like that.
Don't eat that one.
If I was you, I probably wouldn't go for them. You know, the spazzing out goats, the ones that are falling apart, the ones that are getting too domesticated where they're starting to have trippy problems. That might not be a good goat to go for. You might have the same issues that goat's having.
That's true.
So
Have you seen
Might
goats with
consider.
dreadlocks? Have you ever seen the goats with dreadlocks?
goats with dreadlocks.
No,
Man, that'd be
but-
cool. I thought those ones are like, are those like Jewish goats?
They're doing some breeding stuff and mixing. Hey, I want to say you got Jane Hudson. I don't know, you know who she is, but she knows the foots. We started learning from her years ago. It's been years ago. So anyway, so I just want to say I'm glad to see Jane Hudson. She, like I said, she's been out there. She's known it for a long time, and just an old friend of ours. So it's good to see her.
Yeah, she's a rock star.
Cool.
We make her rock stars in the world.
You know, the whole goats and sheep thing, that's biblical too. That's like my sheep hear my voice, and goats, they're more rebellious.
You want me to go some of my notes? I got some cool topics. I know I just
go
bullet
with your
statements.
notes. Do it.
Okay, so we kind of gave you a little bit about what's going on with the Bigfoots, and you know what we need to do is put in the rangers' hearts to work with the Bigfoots. That's probably the most important thing. You know, it's the only way. I mean, that's kind of that. They're unmarked rangers. They're not. They're not from a branch of the government that you could see. They probably don't have no name tags and all that kind of stuff. And
Those are the Bigfoots we're talking. Those are the rangers we're talking about. The other rangers are the ones that are hunting the hogs. They actually was in the group and talked about it in the government societies and such like that. And they're like, okay, we're going to hunt down the hogs. You know, those rangers put in a good hearts to make sure they shoot their kills and do what they need to do. And if they do see a Bigfoot, put in their heart to know what to do in the moment. You know, help them out in a good way. But then you have the off branch rangers that you won't be seeing. And they're the ones that you want to say, put in their hearts to, well,
put in their hearts
to consider work with that being.
Right.
There's a certain words. Those are certain words.
Right.
Those are the words.
I agree.
But put in their hearts to work with the being. But yeah.
Okay, and so now I'm gonna go on switch gears here. Adam and Eve. We didn't know this till recently. We were found out that when Adam and Eve, plus we are Adams, and according to Jim Morrison, at first he told us, and then I wanted to quote it in a chat. And then he's like, well, I don't really want you to quote it because it came from God. And I'm like, well, let me, okay, well, then I'll just say it came from you. So Jim Morrison's a hoot. But anyway, he says we're atoms in an electrical world. Is all we are is atoms in an electrical world. But anyway, Adam and Eve, when they, fail, or when they broke God's rules, because God's rule is really simple, very simple. I mean, God talks to God. He made a flower and he made a butterfly, and together they can reproduce. And that's it. That's the law of marriage. That's it. That's everything is built off of that. Go ahead. You want to say something?
Yeah, it's when the butterfly wanted to land on the flower. That's when he knew it was good. That's when he had to land the first part of the math, the fruit, the flower, the second part of the math, and the butterfly that landed onto the flower. And that created the math problem to balance out to where everything is protected. The innocents were protected. Innocents were protected at that time. But
And
yeah,
so that's
everything
got-
got created from
Right,
that.
and
point.
that's the rules that rule. That's rules that rule. So when Adam and Eve broke the rules, which I call the rules of marriage, but anyway, when they broke the rules, and I don't know exactly what they did. That's when plasma. You want to say something?
Yeah, that's the
Go ahead.
that's rules. It's not it's Adam and Eve. Adam is the atom, and Eve is the energy. And before they were one atom. It was atom and energy together. Now, because of whatever they did, they split those two apart. So now you have energy and atom, and those two do not blend no more. So that's what we're working with in this world is energy and the physical. You have the two energies. You have the microphone that's picking up the vocals, the sound, the energy of me coming into this, and then you have a speaker that's catching what I'm saying, and it goes into you through the energy of another battery system. Right? But yeah,
You say another way, electric and magnetism. Then
yes, electric and because that's where Zeus comes in.
There we go. There's where we go.
See, Zeus, all the Greek gods are not deities or beings. If you ever see one that's a deity or a being, I don't know what it is then, because what these beings are, the way they were able to write these Zeus down is because of energy. He is energy. So for people's concept to grasp what he is about, put him into a deity, try and make a figure out of it. But there's no figure for a being, for the light. There's no figure for energy. There's no figure for sound. There's no figure for the planet of love, the planet of war. No, those are just energetic energies that you take hold on whenever you need to use it in your life. So that's with all the deities of the gods. They're not deities. They're just energies that you need to take upon onto this world
they're
because
elementals.
it's the true physical element of this world that we work with.
But
yes.
it could be collective, and that's why it's a god.
What was that?
It could
Sorry.
be like a collective, so that's why it's a god, because this is what I would see it as. It's the oversoul or avatar of elemental beings is why it becomes a god. So it's like the higher spectrum of, like, I'll tell you, when I work with storms, I've worked with Thor's hammer to dissolve storms as a plasma type of hammer with the stones that have all the different frequencies coming off the hammer. But this is like Thor. There it is again.
I will. That's good.
Go,
Get it,
baby.
Arthur. Get it, Arthur.
Arthur.
King
Go.
Arthur. Go.
Arthur's rocking his party. He loves the energy. Good information. Good energy.
It's a lot of energy for him.
Rawr.
Because he'll go to sleep
Hey,
for
Arthur.
a minute.
Look at
and
him.
he'll
This
wake
cool.
He's crazy. He's a wild man today.
So you're using a Thor hammer. You're using this physical thing. That's the part of the way to use Zeus's power, Thor's power, is to see him in the figure of a being, which is you being the figure of the being. You're the deity you're talking about, and you're the one that used it.
Using the hammer, right?
You
It's
see-
etheric, but it's still it's a tool. It's not
Yeah.
physical in the way that's physical here, but psionic powers out there, but it works somehow.
It does.
Okay,
Yeah.
I got
It does.
But it's
Okay.
not me doing it because it's like it's done through me and I observe it. I
Because
don't set
you're-
out, I'm going to go use Thor's hammer to battle the storm. Because
No.
if I do that, it'll make me sick. So it has to be done through me.
Right. You're just the messenger for it to happen,
Yeah,
for nature to take its course. Right.
exactly. Right.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna get you two back on track. So that was the point, was when Adam and Eve kind of broke the laws. That's when plasma came in. That's where birth pains came in. That's where the electrical signals we have now from pain. That's where that came in.
Yeah. That's
Oh,
where
yeah.
the compulsions and such like that happens. The electric compulsions you get. But yeah, that's where that static energy comes from. Zeus is static. Zeus is that lightning, that in between.
And that stuff
If
would
anything,
also be
we're
Loki,
using.
right? Loki, too.
Well, that's the opposite energy, but yes, you're right. I'm trying not to
Loki
lose
is
course, but
mostly lightning and Thor is thunder, but I know it's not an exact science, and it's left to interpretation depending on whether you're looking at Greek, Roman, Norse. They're all just slightly different in the personality of the thing that they're portraying. But
right,
I
which is
wonder
the
how
difference.
this relates to alternating current and direct current and Tesla.
Okay, let me get this in. Okay,
But just go
Well-
where you're going. But then putting that out there.
okay, I'm catching this. All right, so what we're using right now is one of the two gods, Zeus or Loki, with this energy. This is, I guess, this is DC batteries that are all running this equipment and such like that. You know, same with your side, possibly a bunch of DC, but it's all plugged into AC. You know, we are using a Zeus static energy, and then you have Loki. See, these are deity beings trying to describe a speaker to a fire. You know, there's like, you see what I'm talking about? Like, you have a campfire, and then you have a speaker that's putting out sounds, you know, on your side and on my side, however. But yeah, so there's two different types of energy frequencies you're dealing with. There's so many different types, but one controls this domain of a physical light burning or something like that, and the other one controls the energy flowing. But
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
something like that. But yeah.
Jane, you want to switch subject? Jane had asked about the bloodlines. And so I was like, she said, Jim, talk about the importance of the bloodline. So in my head, I went straight to the enzymes and about your DNA, and you inherit everything. All your ancestors are with you because it's in your DNA. If you know how to swim, it was because it's in your DNA. Every animal we have, we learn that stuff. We know, we understand this stuff. If farmers know everything, they see it. They know, how in the world did that chicken learn that? Well, because it's mama. I know their mama, and their mama did that. But everything is passed on, and the mama was passed away when the baby was born in the egg. But anyway, she's talking about the bloodlines, and I'm trying to think what the bloodline. I know I go into the
Because
DNA.
yeah, like if you look at turtles, they don't even meet their mom, and yet after that egg hatches, they know exactly what to do.
Okay, I want to go deeper on that one because
Unless there's artificial lights, then they will go the wrong way. That's why we've had to rescue turtles and put them in the ocean, because of that artificial light. They have to go the other way.
Right. Well, and this, we have a tree down here that preaches enzymes constantly. Enzymes is like you're talking about that static. That's that feeling you get. That's our enzymes. I call it enzymes. I call it enzymes, but enzymes is your chemical makeup. That's why it's important to have your minerals, your copper, and all that. That's your communication, your instinct. That's your enzymes or your enzymes, and that is talking about your blood, and your ancestors are with you. You know these things, and that's the you talk about the path. You got left and right. There's one, and that Bible verse talks about. It breaks it in two parts. One, it talks about there's a path that is wide and leads to much destruction. But the second part of that verse says, but there's a gate that is true and straight and through. And that's through your enzymes, right? Through your knowing through your instinct. That's through God. That's that perfect path that you know this is where I go. So I'm always telling people, jump on your instincts. Always do your instincts. A lot of people are learning that because the way the world's getting. If you don't follow your instincts or your enzymes, you're going to get in trouble.
If you don't go through that door, breaking the doors. Sorry,
Yeah,
Jim
doors.
Morrison's coming through,
Jim
of course.
Morrison gotta have something.
But if you
Are
gotta
you
go
guys,
through
like,
the
channel
doors.
Jim Morrison?
Well,
You
his
do?
energetic, yeah, his
So,
energetic
but-
energy.
So is he alive or not alive then? Because some people say he's still alive.
He doesn't want to say.
No,
It doesn't
I'll
matter,
tell you.
maybe.
He has.
Yeah.
I'll tell you. I do know stuff about Jim
I
Morrison. He kicked me later. He can kick me later,
Yeah.
but
He
he
can't
has.
speak it, so-
Yeah, he speak it. Yeah, he said speak it, didn't
Yeah.
he hasn't stepped into his higher self yet, and he's going to have to come back because of the crap that was done to him when he was here. It gives you a little
all
insight
that
of what's going on.
Ultra and his father
All the
and
crap,
that stuff.
right. And in his songs, the 7 mile dragon, 7 chakras, the blue bus, that's a real thing. That's a real thing. And it is, there will be blue buses come. If we don't, there's a shift. It's going to be physical or conscious. And if we don't, as humans, get conscious, make our conscious shift, we're going to get pushed around by the physical things are coming. There's shifts coming. One of the two. Just like mom and dad, looks like your grandma said, get out of the house. You're going to go play. Well, I don't want to go outside. Get out of the house. You're going to get pushed or you're going to get switched. There's shifts coming, physical or consciousness. And with Jim Morrison, I'm tying that back to him somehow. The bus, the blue bus. Because, that was something he brought up. And I'm like, dude, makes me nervous to think. They will have to, like, some of the Bigfoots are actually leaving Earth right now because they're like, we're not really sure what shift's coming, but we don't want to be in this mess. Because if we as a human beings don't consciously get right, we're going to get right. I promise you, we're going to get right. Guy is not sitting around waiting either. She's moving forward. She's going to get right. We're all going to get right. But anyway.
Is that sort of like when the dolphins at one time beached themselves? There was a whole collective of dolphins that left, or even when the Mayans left, when they knew as a collective it was just time to go.
Right. Yeah, and some of those blue buses do not have your interest, and some do. So what a mess that people are going to have.
It was sad. What the humans did at that moment. It was whether it was CERN that just started or a certain war that just caused certain waves around the world. That's what got the beach whales and the beach dolphins and so many other things. It was that time period. Look up what happened during that time period. What war happened that year or that previous month or something like that.
Maybe it was
Because
Fukushima
that's what happened.
for one. There was Fukushima and all those things. It's different things that happen. Now my concern is these data centers because the amount of resources that are going to be used and our water.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you made me backtrack in my mind. You're talking about the trees. You're talking about how you see some of them bent limbs. Well, we talked to a tree this weekend and it had bent limbs. And I asked, man, I said, what's up with that tree? You know what? That tree did that himself to a fallen tree that was, the guy had cleared the land. And that was, he had bowed his limbs towards his buddy that didn't make it.
Yeah.
Oh.
So that's why
not
some
Bigfoot's
trees do that.
doing that for play.
And
Some trees, some Bigfoots, though. There's different types of cases.
Mhm.
So yes, there's sometimes it's a Bigfoot that arches it, but then there's these other times it's the tree that's like he does it himself for certain other reasons. But
But that tree had tilted its down towards its buddy that didn't make it.
Mm-hmm.
it was pretty sad. Yeah.
But that gets back to your beaching dolphins and how some of the animals don't want to do this.
The
Right.
collective energy.
Yeah, the collective energy is not going in a right direction.
And also the secret things the government does. They like the dolphin. I feel off that dolphin story right there. It might have been a secret ships or something like that doing certain subsonic things.
Dolphins ain't from Earth anyway. Neither are the octopuses. But go ahead.
Well, don't get me off track because they got mercury in their blood, and that's the planet
There's blood.
Mercury.
There's the word
the
blood,
Mercury.
That's
too.
the planet Mercury.
Messenger planet.
And you know why the planet's Mercury? I got so much chills talking about that. But I was supposed to be on the other topic here. I'll play. Oh, it's a bit. Yeah. Okay, so you know why? Okay, because we're going to be talking about the dolphins. You know why the planet Mercury is Mercury? Because um, Mercury is able to withstand the extreme heats of the sun, but on the backside of the Earth, it's solid. Backside of Mercury, it's solid because the amount of fast heat coming out from the sun, it creates a vacuum on the backside of that Mercury planet, and it cools it off to a certain hardened. It's like negative temperatures or something like that. I forgot what 400 negative plus Celsius they're talking about, but it is frozen on the backside of Mercury, even how close it is to the sun. I'm trying to catch up where I'm going.
It's okay.
It's good energy though.
We're just
Crazy.
talking about the Mercury and the messenger, Mercury, the messenger, right?
And then okay, yeah. So that's why the planet Mercury. Well, that's the mineral that's on Mercury, and that's why it's able to withstand actually being a planet because it's frozen on the backside of it. And then that also helps you out with dolphins and why they communicate so well and giving easy births to women and so many other healing ways that the dolphins do. That's why the government doesn't want people to do anything with dolphins anymore because their connection to the sun is extravagantly freaking beaming out of them, so they can really see beyond through you and be able to help you out in a subatomic way with sound frequencies and such like that. They're very powerful in those ways because they got mercury in their blood and so many other things going on with them.
Before we go to Gina,
And they got hair. Ain't that
Yeah,
something?
more
They
about
are mammals
the
with
blood.
hair.
I mean, that one of the comments was talking about the blood. You've been talking about, but I don't know what they mean in what way.
yeah, there's so many ways to talk about, like you said, the DNA. Also, what Gene just said before we get to what Gina said, Gene said people think that the aliens come from above. I believe they've come from the oceans. We have not even touched 1/10 of 1% of the ocean. See, I always talk about. Everyone talks about the ETs, the extraterrestrial. I always talk about the interterrestrial. No one talks about the interterrestrials, and I believe the same thing, Gene. That most of the ETs are intraterrestrial. They're not
Yeah, I
even
say
extraterrestrial.
interdimensional. So yeah, interterrestrial. Yeah.
Because there is geez, there's no telling how many. We know George was talking about a place he swam down between Hawaii and Mexico where he swam down and he can hold his breath for an hour because he's a giant. He swam down and came up through a cave that had algae and all that stuff and went to where his giants are. There's that's not a civilization. There's just a large group of giants there, but there is there's so much living under us. Like the turtle, America, the turtle you guys talked about in Chloe's meeting. That's what that's what they call us. America is supposed to be the turtle, right?
Turtle
That's
Island.
why.
Yeah.
Turtle Island, right? Because there's so much underneath us that And then I think Gina said there. Gina was saying that they're weaponizing the with the sonars. Right. It's that stuff's got to go.
That's exactly. Yes, I just wrote that down, and I'm glad Gina pulled it up. That's exactly what was in my head. And I was trying to talk about that, about the dolphins being beached. That's what happened. I was writing the SSP programs, the super secret soldiers. Yeah, super soldier programs. Yeah, they're super soldier programs. What did I wrote? Well, okay, maybe that's part of it too, in a different. Maybe they need to be part of it. Try to help out. I don't know.
Well, they've been weaponized. I've been seeing dolphins are in it where they have tracking on them. They tattoo them. They'll tag them with implants and things like that, and then that screws their sonar up. And then some actually do have those military contracts to work for the military, whether it's good, bad, or whatever.
They're doing it.
Whatever they're doing.
Mm-hmm. Well, they're doing.
We do it, even though we don't want to be doing it. When our consciousness has been extracted and cloned, we end up doing it. When they come to us, like in our dreams, and I've just heard, when you wake up, you don't consent to this stuff. Remember to say it when you wake up. I don't consent to this shenanigans that goes on in the astral.
Right. I want to say goodbye to For Me. I guess she's got to run for now. And also, when I lay down to sleep last night, I'm like, okay, I'm leaving. be back maybe tomorrow, maybe not. I believe in that stuff. I leave his body. I ain't like everybody else. I'm leaving. I mean, people, what do you think you're doing? You go in the spirit world, you leave this place, right? We're spirit. You never, and that's, oh, I still got to get back to my notes. I know we're just keep talking. But that was the thing when Jesus was walking, right? When they were taking him to the cross, he looked at people and smiled because he felt no pain. And when he said, did you forsake me? He was like, because he was confused. He thought he was supposed to be feeling pain through all this stuff. And that's some crazy stuff. But he was spirit.
He knew
It was the
couldn't
truth.
tell anybody. He's like, I can't even tell people. I'm not even feeling none of the pains that they put on me. Like all the thorns that they put on them, and the poking and the prodding and then the punching and the whipping and the lashing and so many other things that was going on. He was just like, damn, I don't feel nothing.
Oh, that's because if
The
you
whole
leave your
time.
body, but you're observing it from outside of your body, is why you think?
I think it's truth.
I think it was
What do you think the reason is?
you can only access that if you're in the spirit of truth, and the spirit of truth to protect you, because that's how innocent God is. He's just as pure tone as a pure tone. If you're solid, you're on it.
You won't feel it. I mean,
Protected.
we had a chicken hawk. We had a chicken. We talked to the chicken after he died. Chicken hawk took his head off. God yanks you out of this body. You do not feel this stuff. People believe that you know as well as we're just spirit. We're just coming and going from these physical forms. But we talked to that chicken. That chicken never felt no pain. No,
It's just the body's nerves. It's neurons just jerking around and such like that. If you do see the chicken just flopping around, that's just the body. That's not the spirit. The spirit of the essence of feeling, that's out.
But
That
what about
spirit's
people
gone.
that have had like PTSD, myself included, for no reason, just for things I've seen in my dreams? Like you're in these programs and you feel like, even if you don't know if you were worked on yourself, but you watch it and it's like painful to watch, and because they're extracting your consciousness and they're wanting to see how your consciousness reacts to seeing torture. That still, unfortunately, can go into your cells. So we have to clear that to be to this higher state, like you're saying, because they want, they've wanted loose energy from us.
Yeah.
Well, that's what they were doing with the dolphins. Sound was also weaponized sonar. Thanks for keeping that up for Gina.
Yeah,
So that goes back to that. That was the secret part of the government doing their techniques to weaponize and upgrade their systems even more and more, to where they're going to use it in AI situations, surveillance situations, and try to keep the control in the schoolroom going the way they want it. They're really enthusiastic about full control. Now, individual on the outskirts that are in the same programs, not recognizing what they're doing, they're promoting that too. So you gotta watch out for. Well, you don't gotta watch out for nothing. I'm trying. The number one thing is don't fear about nothing and control your own life and keep your energy within yourself.
I think you need to know
it's
this
still this truth.
reality. You almost need to know it's with Yeshua or Jesus. That aspect knows none of this was really real. So he wasn't invested in it. It's not like Neo being plugged into the thing that you get so involved in the game that you think it's real, so your body therefore begins to react. See, a lot of times when this stuff has happened with these programs, or like if you're taken against your will as a child, even if it's in the astral, because I believe more of it is astral, you don't know all the stuff you don't know that you don't know, but your body remembers everything and you start reacting.
Right,
to
because
what the body's held, to wake the consciousness back up to say, your body has memory of this, but you blocked it, and now you need to address that this has happened. And on a higher level, it's not real, but you have to totally own all that till you get to the point where you become empowered instead of disempowered, and then you can know it's not real. And then maybe eventually those electrical circuits will click where you don't feel the pain and all that stuff. You don't feel those electrical charges because you have to become neutrally charged, is what I'm hearing. You have to, your
Yeah.
charge within your body has to become neutral, and your pH might even have something to do with it. Having the right pH to
By
help
knowing.
with that charge.
Yeah, going through that gate. I call it like this. I tell people that you have I call it a soul that's inside. That's like the earth. If you drill down, you'll hit bedrock. That's Gaia's soul, that hard soft, that hard part inside. And you have to keep your soul strong because your outside is all energy. That's your aura. That's your loose stuff, right? On the outside. But if you don't have and a lot of people don't have an inner soul, which is that truth. Right. If you don't have your inner truth, then you don't have it. Your soul can get weak. Like, for example, our little camping thing, like I explained to Matt and everybody else, it was really good for our soul. And like a baby laying on a mom is good for the baby soul and good for the mom soul. So the soul is like a thing inside that should be hard, but that's where the power and the battery is. And you should have your own battery. That should be your own power. You should be self-powered. We're not supposed to be powered by outside things. We're supposed to be powered from what's inside of us.
We don't see what the supersonic sound waves the dolphin's putting out. That's the same way as what a mother is doing to the baby in the same moment as the baby is on her chest. There is so much energy transferring going on, timelines going through the baby's head. The future of his life right there is in her hands right now, and she's working with that energy. Now, it's still, I'm like, Chloe came in. Hey, Chloe, sorry.
Put that wig back on. Go get that wig. Go get that wig.
Hey, Chloe. Matt.
Can you address this for Gene, Jim?
Yeah, we will. We will. Right. Yeah, I want to see that just a second. 1 second. I got to. Hey, Chloe. Matt has started. Well, he joined your club. Come on, man. Come on in.
I heard there's a pink club, and I'm here. Pink hair cult. I want to be a part of it. I even got my star. I want to be a star. Am I in? There's a club I heard about. I gotta be in it.
You're in.
I'm in. All right.
That's so funny.
That's hilarious. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
What was that? Let's see. What did Gina say?
We want to address Gene and then Gina.
Okay. Let's see. Oh, that's Jean here. Okay, Jean. Oh yeah, she goes. She says, Jim, if we were talking about death and pain in life, people need to know organ donations are not what they think they. Yeah, right. Put
Absolutely.
people. Put on the life support and to say brain dead, you have to be a live transplant. Yeah. Okay. So Jane's talking about that. In our country, they can declare you dead even if you have a heartbeat, and that's what people don't get that. And they can't transport. They can't use dead organs.
They can't.
Now they can use dead skin. That's about it. But they can't.
Bone.
Yeah, bone. But they cannot take. So these people that are doing organ transfer, they're. I'm just telling you, they're keeping these people alive, which
Even for the nervous system, the body has to be alive for them to pull out the nervous system through the skeleton or from the what's that neck part, that spine up to the spine.
Ridge,
Yeah, your spine and such like that. They're trying.
Connects to your spine with your
they're trying to pull that out of you while you're still alive. People don't understand what they're doing while you're still alive.
And Gene's on top of it. Yeah. There's a few topics there. You're talking about the hospital. Those are a horrible place to give birth because if you give birth to all these other spirits, a hospital, the military operations, all these people that are being born, a lot of them jump right back into a body. One of his buddies died. One of his buddies passed away, and we found out he couldn't go home because he couldn't find his heart because they had his heart on ice. Anyway, he ended up eventually through the energy of his body was able to go home, even though his mom had his ashes. He couldn't find her, but it just shows you the hospitals. Oh my gosh, you just keep going and down that road. It is ugly thing going on.
Yeah, you give a woman giving birth to a child. There's a person in the other room that's dying, and that person could just jump right in. He sees a light, he's just going to go straight to it. It could be the false light where it's a light for this baby to get his spirit, and it's like other spirit sees it and they just jump in it before the actual spirit goes into it. So sometimes it could be like that, and
hospitals
there's a lot of mess.
We remember during the that pandemic thing and how the more people they got in the hospital and the more people that unalived there, the more money they would get out of that whole situation. So
yeah, and they've set the birth to be 9 months, and they ain't accurate. You can go 10 months, 12 months, you can go 8 months, 6 months. This thing about this is when you're going to have your baby. That's just crap. And then of course they cut that cord as fast as they can. Of course they want to grab all that, and the baby should not be cut. They should let that all the nutrition is in that. So they're selling that, making big money. It's just money off of poor old humans.
Oh, don't you want to take care of your kid? I want to sell this part out of your kid. Can we just there's horrible people. I mean, some of the people don't recognize what they're doing, and I don't have a judgment against them because they just don't know. I understand. They're doing their job. But
yeah, Gene's definitely crack. There's a lot to crack open on that one.
Ever hear of energy vampire losers made from fat? They're like programmed cookie cutter shaped people made from fat, no bones, organs. They merge into one body, energetic. Boy, that sounds like the Men in Black to me.
Yeah. We were just talking about that the other day. I was talking to Matt. We were trying to figure out how do they transfer like your spirit. And what they do is they have to keep you. So they can transfer
keep
my
you on
spirit.
A battery.
Yeah, they got to keep you on a battery as long as it's moving. But we were looking at that the other day. I don't know if you can remember how it worked, but anyway, they transfer your spirit into like a robot, for example. But that robots, there's a way to do it. You remember?
Okay, yeah,
you
I do remember. Okay, yeah. So it's like it's the dying part of your stage, where you're starting to have when you're shaking with static. You're just like you're dead technically, and what they do is keep a charge on you, a battery, so it keeps you out of the compulsing part. So now you're in a coma, steady with a steady charge, and then they keep you and they put you into that energy into a robot of some type, AI or some other tool that they're trying to use for a massive memory or something like that they're trying to do.
Remember, we are on YouTube, so we're going to have to maybe use some keywords. I'm agreeing with what Gene says, but some of these I'm not.
Entertainment, guys. This is funny.
Yes, that's right. We are not diagnosing, treating, or prescribing. This is for entertainment and educational purposes only. Yeah.
And also this is not entertaining at all.
Exactly. Or blame Jane.
Right.
But that brings in the data center. See, that's them trying to move the consciousness of a lot of people and keep them in 3D.
That's
a lot of people haven't seen that. That's what they want to do. They want to split the time, cause some of us are going to go on, and some of them they want a bunch stay in that 3D, and that's how they want to capture all these consciousness. A lot of people are on their way. A lot of people have already volunteered for it. A lot of people love science, right?
Or their version of a 6G. What I get is it's like a geometry that's not sacred that they've created that holds your consciousness in like a spider web, like an inorganic kind of a spider web energy, like it's a net that holds you captive, which is another frequency fence that we can't get out of.
Yes.
Right.
Right.
Well, if it's a 6G, that gives me an idea of what they might be trying to do is, like the human is the 6, like Iron Maiden. The human of the carbon. Beast is 666.
666, right? Yeah,
right. And then that's 6G.
6G. They want to go to 6G.
They're trying to blend the technology with human, make those two the same.
Transhumanism, right? When the singularity comes
in electronically way. Yeah,
I heard a guy.
And electronic thinking. Yeah.
Last Sunday, I was talking to a guy at the thing that I did the speaking engagement at, and he was saying that there's a race between the AIs, and it's which AI. It's one that I've never heard of that he thinks is going to win the race. It's not ChatGPT. It's not Grok. It's not Claude. It's not Gemini. It's one I've never even heard of. I can't remember. I can't remember all the AIs. And is this going to be the one that is like trying to take it all over?
Right. Well, that goes back to the Black Pyramid or some pyramid in the center of Alaska. Yeah. And the Greys are over control of it. And I heard Dad say, let's just get rid of the pyramid, like destroy it or something like that. That concept came through. And God's like, there's no reason to destroy nothing. Everything's been there for a reason, so use it for a good reason. You just have a bad controller over the AI system. Change the program, you have a whole lot better outcome.
Oh,
So instead of the grays, why don't we use a smart freaking human that wants to help people or something?
okay. So you brought up the grays. There's like a gray infestation, but I do want to address the movie because I went and saw Disclosure Day, and there was a lot of good in that movie. It was very activating, especially after doing the Gina's conference the day before. The Summer Days conference, wide open to go see that. For me, it wasn't the alien thing at all. That was like 10% of it. That was nothing. It was the disclosure of all the programs, of the PTSD, the targeting, what happens with animals, the clicking, the whole thing about remote influencing, remote, making Manchurian candidates or psychic assassins and all these kinds of things, that actually my body actually went into a PTSD because I identified with that anchor woman, because my memories of all that stuff is still coming up. All that nasty, this and that, the SSP, all that umbrella term for all those programs. But there is a, part of what David Icke said, and I do agree with this, is that they're trying to also make it so we are sympathetic to the grays.
Right, psyop. That's what he said. Yep.
If you
that was my notes.
see aliens, everything is like gray aliens. Although my aliens, if I have anything to do with aliens, they're purple. But still, I prefer it didn't look like those eyes and that.
I like the Martians myself. Those are my buddies.
Yeah, they're engineers.
They're engineers.
They're out of everybody's business and into their own toys. But now the clicking sound, you brought that up, and it brought up some other memories to you and such like that. Well, the thing is, one of the energies I collected up from the clicking sound, it's a like putting a battery on a speaker. It makes a thud, thud, thud. You flip the polarity, the speaker goes one way, and the speaker goes the other way. You put a charge on it, it goes one way or the other. And then the sound of frequency of my voice going through the speaker right now, it's not going thud, 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 thud. It's a waveform that's able to hear what I'm saying. You're able to hear what I'm saying. The clicking is like a battery, and they're trying to reset your thinking to their program and try and program you the way they want you to be programmed.
Ooh, I can see that. So, I feel that as you said it. So it's not just Morse code.
And you're picking up on a memory that they were doing to you.
Oh, yeah. I can feel that. Oh, my God. But what do you think about, we know that they're really trying to socially engineer that the grays are okay, and we have to accept the grays now. And I'm not saying that I'm not going to lump and say every gray is bad. Not all humans are evil, but I'm a God sovereign free being, and I'm not going to bend the knee to anything except for like God's source first eternal. That's the way I look at it. I'm not bending the knee even to what's considered the guardian races, because any of these things, even though I subscribe to them more than other ones, but to me, any of these things can be hijacked. So it's like we have to like boundary test it with our body, and how does it feel against us? Does it feel abrasive? Does it feel like it's like invasive? Because if there's a thought form, even if it's from good races of beings that want to protect us, and this is the way it should be, if that feels invasive, I'm going to back off a little bit and hold my distance and ground, say, I'm just going to wait on that, and I'm going to think about that. And I don't care if I don't have to have transmissions from guardian beings or from other races or even bugs or crystals. I don't need this every single day. I'm here to have a human experience, and I might just need to back off a little bit, because some of that shit can be fabricated, I think, and we just don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah, and that, I reflect on, people I know, like Chloe. She can tell you she's worked with the grays, but she's just getting tired of they double cross you. And I'm with you. David Icke says it was a psyop, basically soften our opinion against the grays. And I'm like, I get that. And our Scott Bigfoot, no, his originally, no, he didn't want anything to do with the ETs. Didn't want to work with them, nothing. No, he has worked with them. He was working with them because of their technology was good.
A saucer that you went
Yeah,
into.
it was a solid one.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
what he
Lord.
said.
So they're mixing, they're using our vehicles and stuff. But anyway, he had worked with them because it was helping with the mermaids to help the water. They had the technology, so he was trying to work with them. And at one trip, when he was up in the ship, there was someone else on the ship that wasn't supposed to be there, or whatever. And then Scott's like, I'm out, because he knew how they are. They can double cross you, right? And he started jumping up and down. Of course, they basically crashed that. They didn't crash it, but they just
Almost
basically
crashed
almost
it.
crashed it to let him off, because he would have destroyed that ship. But
You know, and not all beings are bad, because I
we're
always thought,
scrolling.
I thought all sirens were bad, right? I really thought, oh my God, sirens are evil. They're bad, until they told me, no, you can use that energy for the storms, and we're going to help you mitigate these storms.
Yeah, and
Yes.
and the thing with the mermaids, the reason that they're evil and all that is because there was a time when we were a water world for a long time, and they didn't make that evolution to get legs. There's a jealousy going on, kind of thing going on.
And some not. Some gets it, some doesn't. Some appreciates being a mermaid, some doesn't appreciate it.
So anyway, that's just the way it is. You missed your evolution. You didn't move in the right direction, and then you don't have legs. And so we're on land, and they're not. So there is some animosity, right, going on there, and that's where you get you hear a lot of stuff about some of the mermaids not being real friendly.
Yeah, because it's like for us, we could see the stars above us. For them, they see land above them, and they're like, oh, there's a lot over there. What's going on over there? It's the jealousy of like being a smart fish, like a dolphin. Man, I can't walk on the land. Damn it.
Yeah,
such like that.
It's a missed evolution step. It happens because, like I said, they didn't think we were ever going to get land back. That's how long we were a water planet. And you want to switch gears? You want to go there's lots of chats going on there. I think we missed a few comments.
Lots of chats. I was just bringing that up because of the fact that, I see what's going on in our community at large with this whole, with grays and with having to have ET contact all the time. What about having human contact, like being a human and knowing that if you're an ET, it's because it's in you. Maybe all those races of beings are in you, and they holographically project out, because we're everything. We have all these different kinds of DNA in us. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
Sorry, I missed something. There was that last part I missed.
She said we have all kinds of DNA in us.
Yes.
Because when we were created, like I will trust the cat, the feline beings, because I've had experiences with that. My cat Freya projected herself to me as a tall white feline, so I resonate with that and I trust it because I've had the experience.
Well, you brought up the feline cats, being the slit eyes, and the regular lions and such got round eyes. And
I know that this cat's been genetically modified with snakes. I know that because of his slit ambush predator eyes and the fact that he's like a vampire. I know.
Yeah. Well, the cats, supposedly the cats and the honeybees are both Egyptian products, because you think about the honeybee, they hoard, right? Yeah. And a lot of the other bees do very well without hoarding. And the cats, if your cat disappears for a night or two or a week, he's probably going back to his ET buddies. But you got your intuition on, so if your cat's a spy.
He loves me too much, and I feed him. I
always joke. There's so many cat lovers. I can make a lot of enemies talking about cats being Egyptian spies, but I don't want to get into it. I don't want to get hurt.
What about bees? That doesn't make bees bad because they hoard. We need bees and honey. We need those pollinators. The thing is, there's other bees that do better without hoarding, because they do. That's the hive mentality, right? They learned that through the bees, and what do they want to do to the hive mentality, right? Well, that's an interesting perspective. I remember you bringing that up before, but what about if all the bees start dying? Would it be better to have bumblebees?
Because they're not quite natural. They can't there's no natural honeybees in America. I mean, maybe in the southern parts of America, maybe there's some natural areas that they live and strive, but I forgot what the other countries are. They have like full freaking cliffs full of honeybees and such like that. They're natural for that area, so I'm probably not talking about those honeybees. But there's certain honeybees. I don't know what strand they are, but they are like they've been genetically modified to be what they're supposed to do.
Got it.
What they try to claim for them to be. But yeah, that
That
makes sense.
Yeah, but there are certain beings, like we talked about the ant people a little bit, not really, but they are a hive. They work. That's the way they work. Their
Right.
beingness is that way, where they want to be that collective. So I don't know if all collectives are bad, but it's bad when it's like imposed to where it's a hive mind thought system. Where you don't have your own thoughts because
Yeah. Well, anything that comes to this earth, it takes, I think, about 7 generations or more for Gaia to bring them into a natural state. They have to be naturalized, and you come in like, I don't know, I'm going to say cedar trees. I don't even know. There's also a lot of things that have come on, but through the process of Gaia will turn them into, bring them into positive, I guess you could say. And like for example, I know you might know Polly. I'm thinking of her last name. What's her last name? Polly Polly. Anyway, it's a friend of mine. She's been abducted, and she's had, they've been using her to have babies, right? Children. But that group of ETs, they could have babies naturally, but they might have to die because it might die during birth to return to a natural thing. But instead of them returning to, which means, to give your life for another, to have a baby, but they are still using us humans as, to have their children. And I'm kind of like, I'm not sure, but still, it's still naturalizing, coming back to, you can be naturalized. You could come to this planet and become naturalized, and you can have natural birth. So, I mean, it is a process, and Gaia definitely doesn't, she makes good out of anything you throw at her. She makes good.
Well, you brought up kind of 2 points. She brought up one point, which is the family dreams, is what I'm bringing up. But we used like group thinking about the honeybees and such like that. Native tribes used to had they actually have dream weavers too. I just not catching that just now, but they have when the Native Americans or a good family tribe comes together and they just go to sleep that night, they are all in the same dream spirit world, thinking about what they're going to be doing for the next day and the harvest and the hunting and the gathering and the works that they're going to be doing tomorrow, whether it's in the knitting or whatever they're doing. It's a group thinking. It's really good if you use it in a good direction, but you can get into groups in your spirit side whenever you like in your dream world, where you be a part of this work ethic team over here or this school mentality over here, and you're trying to figure out where you fit in with this group. And that's a flaw system, because you're trying to fit into a group of people that are not of you, to help you in certain circumstances. But the other part is propagating the earth, is what Dad was talking about.
Yeah, I've got some mixed ups there. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's propagating.
We got some another comment here from
Yeah.
Okay.
Let
me give me 1 second.
That one.
Yeah, propagating the earth. We're supposed to not be sexual about this. We're supposed to help the earth out, is what we're supposed to do. We're not supposed to it's our lives and we get to have billions of people on earth. No, we're supposed to help the earth. We're supposed to propagate the earth, prosperity to the earth. We're supposed to give ourselves to the earth. It's the misconception of the Bible for some reason. I don't know how it got misconcepted.
Well, when we lived longer, there was no need to have all these.
There wasn't no need.
Yeah, people live longer, and then they can become enlightened, where now it's about reincarnational cycles and harvesting loose energy. They want us in that reincarnational cycle because we're a battery to them.
Which is a slave mentality, where you get used by them that are using you.
Because of 9 to 5.
Man on the
Right.
menu, like in the Twilight Zone episode.
And whenever it gets real bad, just start growing your own tomatoes and say, forget them. But yeah.
Well, Jane brought that up. Jane, I got my wires crossed. The guy, how she does it, I got to tell you, the 7 generations is what Bigfoots do. Like we don't do, but like for example, Blackie was a Bigfoot, and Gene knows these things that raped a girl that Janice Carter knows, and so Blackie was excommunicated, I guess you could say, from his tribe. Now his children were raised by our foots around this area, but it takes 7 generations for like Bigfoot, about 7, to breed out bad things like that, right? That's how the Bigfoots do it. And that's what humans are supposed to do. We should be breeding out genetic things that we don't like.
But they
That is
keep
not good.
altering us so we can't.
Yeah, we never get that far. We're just like, here, kid, go to college. Good luck with it.
And then they just keep assaulting us with needle technology or whatever it is they're doing to us, spraying
Right,
us, poisoning
But
us.
hell, right, Gene, how this guy do it? I'm trying to remember.
Well, yeah.
It's been a while.
Well, 7 blessings. Okay, hold on. I'm trying to continue with what you're saying. The best math problem to see how this is working out for your generation. 7 generations, it's got to be washed out. Well, it's the 7 plagues, and there you have the 7 blessings. It's a math problem. You can resolve your issues really fast with one blessing, right? One blessing will give you 7 extra blessings. One seed will give you a plant that gives you 7 fruits, and then you get 7 billion seeds from those each individual plants. So it's the blessing part. People don't really recognize how fast it is to get past a curse, because it's a balance. It's a 7 plagues, and you have 7 blessings that goes with it. It's a balance. So you can get out of having to go through 7 generations. But if you're off planet coming on planet, and yeah, that'll be like 7 years because you're not of this planet. So it takes 7 years to try to get you acclimated to this place. And then maybe you can like do something, or maybe 7 generations. I think that was, yeah, 7. Yeah, that'll be like 7 generations. Well, for the Foots, it was the same thing with the Foots. If Blackie didn't resolve himself and such like that, it's the same thing. It could be 7 generations to try to get that blood out of him. If his next son still had it in him, and that next son still had it in him, son or daughter, doesn't matter. But still, it's a possible 7 years. You look out for it on the 7 years, because it might recycle back in the next generation, because they even talk about your great grandfather's or your grandfather's hair will be the same as yours, and you don't have the hair of your mom or your dad. You have your hair of your grandfather. Sometimes it skips the generations. So that's what types of deal happens there. Yeah.
So I had a dream I want to share with you, because we talked about turtles before, and because of Chloe, when she channeled the grandmother turtle, I had a dream. Not all the dream was good, but this part of the dream was really good. But very strange that there was a turtle that was like born in like a seed pod. I don't know if it was a shell or a seed pod, but it was about this big, and it was a sea turtle. And then this grew like within a day about this big, and it bonded to me like I was its mother. It imprinted on me. It's not that it didn't like other people, but it really imprinted to me, and it even liked Arthur. And I'm like, and I was going to have to put this in the ocean, but I was almost thinking it needed to go somewhere to be around humans. I don't remember exactly what happened, but I'm just trying to figure out, what is that supposed to mean? I've been pondering it all day.
You're supposed to say that last part again. That was very intriguing. You did a twist on me.
As much
yeah.
I wanted it to be in the ocean, but I was worried for its safety, because it had no training of, did it need to go in an aquarium, a zoo, or did it need to go to the ocean? Where did this turtle need to go? But then I was thinking, and then I was getting attached to the turtle, and I knew I couldn't be attached, but it loved me so much. So I didn't know if it wanted to stay with me. I didn't know if it wanted to go off on its own in the ocean. I was like very divided in my spirit of what was the right thing for this turtle, because some animals actually have contracts to be in zoos and things. Like one time I was in a zoo, and this grizzly bear told me, you're judging me for being here. He goes, but it's a lot easier to work here than it is to be in the wild. He goes, you guys work for money. He had a concept of money. He said, you guys work for money and it's okay. And I was like, whoa. Okay.
Love it.
I love it. Well, that turtle, he's pure innocence, knowing 100% true tone, divine knowing of where and what he needs to go. And that's the whole part of he knows absolutely nothing. So he sees you. He was magnificently like, whoa, look at you. He was in true love for you because he never saw you. Everything's new to him. Everything's bright and beautiful. So you put him back in the ocean was the right direction because now he noticed that these beings are good. And he's like, that's cool. Next, I hope to see him again. He hopes to see humans again, is what I see from that little turtle. Yeah. Did you put him back in the ocean, you said?
I woke up.
Oh, you woke up.
So
Wow.
I made that
That's a
decision
dream.
Of whether he went
It
in the
felt
ocean
so
or
real.
didn't.
I see it being so real. That's crazy. Maybe it's someone else in the video that freaking like probably had an actual experience, and you had the dream of that person having the experience, and or something.
But
I
the
don't
weird
know.
thing is, he didn't
That's so
come
cool.
out of an egg. It was more like a shell or a seed instead of an egg, and it wasn't in the sand. It was in a tree. The turtle came out of a tree. So I thought maybe it had something to do with Turtle Island, even though it was a seed.
Tree life. It's a tree of life. So we're all on the Native Americans. We're all on this floating turtle, and we're on the back of this turtle. And off the back of the turtle is a bunch of trees, life, and the seed, the egg came through its back, fruiting up. So it's like Gaia's giving thanks and showing you the blessing of life that's here for you. I think that's what I'm saying for now. Now, your other connections is possibly true too. So yes.
Cool.
Yeah.
And then you can you see Chloe's comment there, and there's more comments.
After 60s, 70s. Yeah.
Bless you.
Thank you. I was gonna say, I'm trying to go through my notes. What do we got here? Let me see. It used to be that you could not marry without a blood test,
That's
right?
right.
I
Yeah,
forgot about that. And then they stopped that. So many families have children with issues. It's crazy. That's true. They wanted to destroy humanity. Yeah, they definitely want to destroy humanity. It was a war against humanity for sure. And that's right. The blood testing thing. She made me think about something on that one. Oh, I don't want to go down that story. It's a long, crazy one. Hey, let me talk about something else. When three eye
Atlas.
Atlas.
yeah, three eye at last.
Third eye.
At last, yeah. When the three eye at last came through, and that Nibiru was behind that. No, we never saw Nibiru. It was what
Nibiru,
balanced Nibiru. It balanced that energy. I don't know if you knew that or not. I just want to throw some cool stuff at you. I thought that was cool. That's something that he talked to his buddy for. And those Kevin, yeah, and those pyramids. So they put the pyramids on the wrong place on the earth. They put them on the sides. They're supposed to put them on the north and south. And so Kevin explained to us, well, I'm trying to adjust that, which they do. Kevin, that's our Martian friends. They go out and adjust it on other planets and come back here. They don't want to screw up. They've got Earth going pretty good. It's kind of green, it's kind of got life on it and stuff. They don't really want to break Earth. So they do have other planets where they're working on sound, right? I think there's one, but I thought that was interesting.
The planet that they were working on has sound. Yeah, that's the planet that we're working on. The Kevin was working on was the one that had a partial diosphere around it, and that's what
a partial diosphere.
That's with the pyramids.
Yeah, when you get a chance, ask AI what happens if you put a partial diosphere around the Earth. Don't say you got to say partial. The other one would be destructive. And anyway, you got to do that sometime. Another one I was going to say was those spears that you see the spears that people are finding. And they're like, what is this thing? If they get close to a power line, they have a battery like inside of them. They get zapped, boom, and and they fall to the ground. But that's part of Kevin's package. Of what they do is they're surveying sound, energy. Those are just survey devices. And you see a lot of people are getting those big round balls. But yeah, that's Kevin's toys.
Yeah, they're like it's like wireless. They're able to it just hovers on the Earth. They just deploy them. and they don't really care if it ever comes back. It's just like, here, take a look, survey, and whatever you gather, we got it on our computers here, up here, behind the moon, or in front of the moon, whichever place that they're at, from what I'm seeing. That's not quite directly on Kevin for the moon part, because he's the one that's doing the transportation off the moon. So there's a lot of transportation of stuff going towards the moon, like there is to the backside of the moon, to where things are then getting deployed out of the back of the moon too. But it first goes to the front of the moon.
It makes me think of a Pink Floyd song. Even though this background, I couldn't figure out, certain backgrounds for the StreamYard, but that sort of looks like the Dark Side of the Moon album cover, doesn't it? In a way,
a little bit. It does kind of. It does kind of look like the pyramid, right?
Yeah.
The prism that we're in, right?
Yeah.
The light prison that we're in. We was talking to a tree the other day. I want to tell you this one. This was kind of cool. The tree, it was a big giant tree. Him was setting up. We just went up we were up in the woods. We like going up and checking out the mushrooms, especially if it rains, the life, the snails, the turtles, all that stuff. And we were up there, and we sat down by this big giant tree, and we talked to the tree for a while, and we learned some pretty important stuff. He said back in the day, everything was moved before the motor. They moved everything with leverage. And like the Great Wall of China, those little cut-in grooves you see, they used to be for wheels that would lock in. They used to be a transportation, and they moved big, like wooden trains on that thing, right? And people could walk underneath it. That's how big these things were. And he was telling us about that and explaining here in America how they would take stuff from Jordan, and they had things that had like big legs like this that would roll. Spokes. One man could operate it, right? Because it was based off of leverage. It was all leverage back in those days. Everything was leverage. One guy could sit there and move a 50, train that was
like 100 feet. They can move it to 100 feet to 200 feet with just one from this. Let me get my hand there. From this part to about like that part, that's like 200 feet. That's how far they moved it, just by one twist. That's leverage.
He did tell us a secret, because we were on the topic, and he did tell us a secret, and we went live. Where'd she go? Peekaboo.
Hey, everybody.
I guess she's still in the background. I hope she didn't fall off. Wait a minute, I'm going to say this point. I'm just going to say it. Peekaboo. Okay, so anyway, Chloe would like this. I didn't know this. You have to be a tree before you can be a star. We know that your spirit can become a star, but you have to be a tree before you can become a star. That's a secret. I think that's really cool.
Ain't that cool?
Poor old Missy got kicked off her own channel.
Damn it. Censorship is horrible. Or we are out. Hey, which one is it, eh?
We can go look at the nose. Gene's been in there.
Gene's been cranking up the freaking topics.
I know Gene's pulling it out. That's helping us bring it out, because, there's a lot to talk about, and you don't get excited. You forget about half this stuff. Okay, Great Wall of China. I'll go back to my notes.
Okay. Anunnaki scuba.
The Anunnaki symbol.
Okay. Enoch.
The Enoch symbol. That's only showing you half the symbol, because our world is balanced with another world's water, and underneath it they have like a sewer line, right? But you can imagine, so it crosses, and it's a water line. So from two planes, and you have the water that transfers. And that's why water rises and it balances. It's kind of a washing machine type thing. And the Anunnaki, the knock you're looking at one loop, which is on our side. It's actually the infinite sign, which is on the other side. Like the something to do with the star, the North Star.
Okay, I drew it.
Okay, he drew it.
Let's see if I can get it on the camera. Of course, put
it aside.
Okay, there we go. So, where's my pen? Okay, so Okay, so the Anunnaki is right there. I'm trying to bring my hand. Fucking hand work. Sorry. Okay, this is fun. So there's the Anunnaki from right there up, and then from right there down is the other part of the Anunnaki, and right here is the ice. Damn it!
The ice wall.
Ice wall, right? Let me.
Yeah,
ice wall right there. That's where the ice wall is. The two border lines right there.
Okay, Cool.
So yeah, and then you have the lake above, or terraplane above, terraplane below. Let me get the light. There you go. Terraplane below. That's where we're at, type of deal. That's the Southern Bowl, the Southern Cross. That's why they call it the Southern Cross, because there's Southern Cross for their side, Southern Cross for our side. Or technically, it's probably the Northern Cross for their side. But yeah.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. And now let's see.
Where'd Missy go?
Where'd Missy go? Let's see.
Great.
I'm looking at my thing. I mean, I was just at the bottom of my notes, luckily.
Oh, wow.
Oh, well, but anyway, the Anunnaki, as far as I'm concerned, they just put the I on the knock, ANKH, because that is what the Egyptians were trying to write God's language. And so that's
an imagery.
Imagery. And that's just this, that is what's put between spirit and physical is that's what they call it, that symbol, the knock.
The Ankh. ANKH.
Ankh.
I thought it was IA or something.
No,
IH.
that's ANKH.
Okay, Ankh.
So anyway, that is a thing, and everything gets the Ankh.
Anka.
Everything gets the Ankh.
Anka.
Whatever wants to go from spirit, because before you were ever physical, you were spirit, and
After
they make a body for you.
After the balance of masculine and female comes together, then you have the Anak comes in with the key of life to grant permission that the child may be born. And then the woman will go through her pregnancy and then go through all that stuff. But first it's the Anak. After the balance of the two dualities, then you get the Anak that comes in. And it's not an actual deity, like I was saying earlier about the Greek gods and such like that being deities. The Egyptians showed that it's a deity holding the Anak. Well, that's not a deity. It's just a balanced thing that's happening that gets passed to the other. But it is a spiritual thing that is physically happening. All right. So it's hard to say it's physical when it's spiritual, but it's a spiritually physical thing that happens.
When Missy would come back, I'll tell you about some Tesla's been helping us a lot lately. We didn't even got any talking about Tesla, any.
I know. We talked a little bit. We started to get on there. And then started talking about a lot of other things.
I think we did really good.
Even
without Missy, we did great.
Yeah. The whole
yes,
live.
Jesus, yes, you're live.
See, we're live.
I asked, I said, are we still live?
I guess we're live.
Yeah. I don't know what happened to Missy or Kat. Unplugged the satellite phone or something. Missy's dropped off and we've just taken over her channel. This is a pirate show now.
It's pirate.
Now we can say whatever we want. Missy loses her channel. We're good to go.
All right. No.
Let's talk about conspiracy.
Let's try to keep it lighthearted.
Uh-oh.
Hey,
look at there. She come back.
Hey, you guys, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, yeah.
I lost internet here. The internet went down.
Yeah, we took over your channel. We became a pirate show. We're loving it.
Okay, good. So I decided to do this outside. I came outside now because I think it's going to go out again. I don't know what you guys were commenting on, but I'm sure whatever it was great. And then if it goes down again, we'll just call it a wrap. Because
we just I just had a few more notes on my thing and we went over them. So we finally I think we hit the end of our note bucket. So we're pretty happy.
Just give me I'll go back and listen, but just tell me the cliff notes. What did you cover? Just tell me what.
Here's one thing. I drew this. He was
talking about the Anak
and
how it connects our two worlds. It's a water balance.
Yeah.
And there's the ice wall in between. He was showing that.
Yeah, I was showing that the ice wall's down there.
Anak too.
We got the Southern Cross, which looks like the Anak. The top part is our terrain, and then the bottom part is their terrain on the other side of the ice wall. So they had the Northern Cross for them, possibly, and we got the Southern Cross. Dang it, she's out again.
The Ankh.
Dang it.
Oh, there it is. That's
Yeah.
We're talking about Tree of Life, and here we
Tree of
go.
Life and the Ankh. So Jay says, so what?
Did you get it? I saw you go out, Missy.
Yeah, I went out. I see somebody. I thought maybe Chloe was trying to come in the studio, but we're gonna end it pretty quick. So what did you say? Just say it real quick.
The
talk about
Anak
the
is the
Ankh.
Southern Cross, and then
The
the
Ankh
North
is the Ankh. We're looking at the north side. There's also an Ankh on the bottom, and there's the ice wall in between it. So that's because that's the water that balances our, what do you call it? Our you were calling it something. I like your word.
terrestrial
Yeah. Our terrestrial
terrain. I forgot the
anyway,
word.
That's what balances the terrestrial.
No,
The land,
terrain.
but the land between the land on the other side of the ice wall that's connected to us.
Yeah.
And then I think the only other thing we was talking about was the Ankh. I think someone just added the I, and then you come up with an Anunnaki, and then you get in all that junk, and that's all distraction.
Try and put a being on a
the
tree of life.
The Ankh is what happens between spirit and physical. The Egyptians were trying to write God's language basically, and that's what that represents. And that was it. We're just talking about the Ankh. I think that was it.
Oh, cool.
I think you got. Let's see.
Do you
Gene
think
had
the
one.
Ankh also can be a particle accelerator?
Hmm. Do you think? You think the Ankh can be a particle accelerator?
Yeah.
I don't know, right?
They might
Like
be
the
trying to
trident-
get
like
a
the
grant.
Like sort of like the trident, sort of like the Thor's hammer, sort of like Excalibur, sort of like, all these things.
Mhm.
But
Well, I think all of those is what we can use. They put deities as imagery for us to take hold of.
Right.
But it's for us to be able to use these abilities, the Anak and the a bunch of other things. The Poseidon staff that you were just talking about. But yeah, trident. And such like that.
The swastika, the correct one, not the inverted, screwed up one,
The balance. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gene asked what. So what or who is Elon Musk? No way is he human. Well, I mean, with Musk, yeah, he's got some flawed stuff. I don't know, and of course we ain't going to space. I mean, so of course we're not going to do a lot of the things they're doing. They can put cameras all over a Tesla car, but they can't put any on the spaceship. So I guess they can't afford them. And then the other thing is with the Musk, he is like you said, he's doing a lot of good things. He did a lot of good things, but he's definitely into human. What do you call that? Transhumanism and all that. So I'm like, eh. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that I don't agree with. The electric cars, the Teslas, when you're riding around, they're putting out a frequency that is horrible. And it's on your system. When you gas it, you raises the frequency. It's changing frequency. If you pull up beside a tree, the tree's like, please give me back the gas cars and the diesel cars, because those actually have a good frequency compared to electric vehicles. Electric vehicles are going to make people sick. But
static energy.
But anyway, we can go on and on about this electric world that they're trying to create. I say the world's on fire with electricity.
We'll have to do this again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We was really happy we dumped so much on this. It's 2 hours and 30 minutes. So we're excited. We'll do like a 6 months annual review.
Sounds good.
It'll be well worth it.
Oh, I took that beeping sound from that movie and I cut out that MP3 and I stuck it through every AI I could. Analyze this for me, spectrograph it for me. Tell me what is it? I worked really hard to see if I can get anything out of that to find out if there's any. I couldn't find anything. I just want to let you know. But what Matt was saying is probably more accurate. It is still being used as some kind of programming, right? I don't know.
I think that she did the clicking in a way where you can't get no transaction or translation. That's what I was trying to say. You get no translation because that's not what they use, but they use the other clickings that is to program. But yeah, that's what I was saying, or something like that.
And Gene, email me at tkbigfoot@proton.me. tkbigfoot@proton.me. She wants to talk. We talked. It's been a year since we've talked, but we'll talk back at Gene sometime.
Yeah,
Thanks for holding it down when that internet went down. I have no idea. I guess because I did hear thunder in the distance. Thor was talking in the distance there. Yeah, you guys, this has been great. And we'll have to catch up in the physical sometime. Like you said, you want to come over to Hot Springs. So that'd be cool.
Right. I owe Tina a trip out of the house. You know how it is. People are getting less and less out of the house because it's just ain't no good. The food ain't no good. The restaurant's no good.
Food's
the
terrible.
people are no good. The hot springs, you're like, oh my gosh, like I said, they used to be hot. Now they put 60 tubs in, so now you get warm. You're like, man, what happened? And then you go camping, and you're like, what do you want for camping? So we've got more and more. I know we're not the only people that become homebodies just because it's ridiculous to travel and enjoy. It's not like it used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But thanks for having us, Missy. We really appreciate talking to you. We were excited to get the chance, and thanks, Gene and Chloe and Gina and so many people that showed up, and
Jason and all the people that showed up in the chat.
Jason. Yeah, it was awesome.
Bunch of fun people. All right.
Yeah.
Thank y'all.
Yep. Who do we miss? Eric and
Yeah, Eric was there.
Terry.
and,
Carrie.
Terry was there.
Terry was there. Yep, Terry was there.
yeah.
Terry.
Sunflower.
Sunflower showed up.
Yep.
Chloe.
Of course, Chloe. Rock on.
Yeah, Chloe's making fun of my mic. So she had a really good mic, and I was like, ask her what it was. She told me. That's what I went and bought one off eBay. So that's why she was like, you guys got a good mic. I'm like, yeah, thanks, Chloe. That's why we got this one because you had a good one. So we were like, I'm going to get a good one. So we copied her.
Chloe and I are supposed to be on with Rob on 4th of July.
Oh, that's
and
gonna be fun.
Clearing over his do a recap about the Potomac River and DC and all that grid work, and then stuff to do with where he is in Pittsburgh. And I think Breakaway Ray's going to be on, and Rob wants us to do readings too, so it'll be a fun 4th.
Right, cool. Yeah, Breakaway Ray, he owes us Breakaway. If you're listening, we shot about an hour or so with him, and he hasn't put it out yet. He says he's still working on it, but we dropped a lot of stuff. So we're hoping Breakaway Ray will put that stuff out.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Well,
He
this
did.
will be
He
out
dropped a
there.
lot.
I'm no technical person and don't have the storage to save it. But if you're tech people, you can just grab it and do whatever. You probably know how to do that better than I know how to do any of it.
Yeah, I get a copy of it. I'll probably run it up. I might take some I might do some excerpts out of it, but I definitely want to run it because like I said, I'm just excited to dump so much and to talk to you and pull so much out and have someone to talk to. Because you, Chloe, there's so many people that we could talk to that have the capacity to talk to these topics.
I want to start seeing more of these caves. This sounds really cool.
Oh, it'll be worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
But anyway, I'll talk to you all later.
All right, thanks, Missy.
Good, Missy.
Bye.
You're a rock star.
You're a rock star. All right.
Love that wig. Okay, bye.
All right, bye-bye.